Good morning to those of you joining us on track for the TheStable.ca open house. 6 qualifiers kick off at 11 a.m.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Northfield Park for the 2024 Stable.ca open house, and a bit of a different wrinkle this year. We'll get to that in just a second. My name is Mark McKelvey, and pleased to be joined by the guy that's on his home turf, Michael Carter. Thanks so much for welcoming me to Northfield Park. Nice to get here. I've been telling you that I'm going to get here for quite some time. Finally made it for the Stable.ca open house, and Northfield being gracious host to what's going to be a fun morning of baby races.
Yeah, this is the second time that we've hosted this event, and Mark McDonald and I did the show last year, and it was a blast. We had a good time. This year, a new twist, though, as we're going to be qualifying some of these babies, the first set of baby qualifiers that we'll have.
Yeah, 6 qualifiers in total are going to go forward today. So unlike just the training sets, no, these horses are going to get a charted line here today. And for the most part, it is horses from the Stable.ca that'll be going forward. We got a few mixed in, but we'll go through the fields as the morning rolls on. Mike will be calling the action. Busy month here at Northfield. I know it's a busy month for myself back home around Woodbine Mohawk Park, but you guys have your signature race coming up. So a lot going on. How are things shaping up for the Battle of Lake Erie next Saturday?
Things are good. I know our director of racing, Dave Bianconi, is extremely happy with how the field has come together. We've got By the Missile coming back. Some horses that are going to try to do something that nobody else has done. So we've got some signature pacing events. The Myron Charna President's Pace, the Carl Milstein Memorial, and the Battle of Lake Erie. And both By the Missile and Charlie May are going to both try to win the battle and wrap up all three. It's kind of like our Triple Crown almost.
That's really neat, and I'm looking forward to that race next Saturday. I had a chance to see a couple of the horses that are probably going to be coming here race last weekend when, or I should say, just 2 nights ago on Friday,
right.
Western Fair. It's been a whirlwind of a weekend, but saw a great performance from Hullabaloo, who's trying to add another half-mile victory to his resume. He's one of the best on a half, so it'll be exciting to see him here.
Yeah, he won the MGM Borgata Pacing Series. He actually won a spot into this race from the MGM Borgata Pacing Series. Yonkers and us are sister properties, so we offer whoever wins the Borgata a automatic bid into the Battle of Lake Erie. And I remember calling Ronnie Burke up, and I said, of course you're invited. And he said, first thing out of his mouth, I get 2 spots, right? And of course, By the Missile's Ohio bred. So, it's tough not to put the Ohio bred in there as well.
Absolutely. Well, here this morning, and you'll see it in just a little bit, unfortunately, we're not under sunny skies. Not much we can do about Mother Nature. A little bit of rain that has been falling along here at Northfield, but we're going to have a fun morning all around. I know we got some special guests already coming into the room who'll be joining me on the desk very shortly, but for yourself, I always look forward to the 2-year-olds when they debut on the track because they are the future stars of the sport. It's fun to track, especially here at the Stable.ca when we go from the yearling sales and then all winter long watching them train down, and now we're going to see them on the track. Here this morning, I think the number one thing, again, is we're not going to read probably too much into the performances, but just body language, if they can stay on stride. So at the end of the day, there's a lot we can take from these. Doesn't matter if there's a win, a second, a third. You just want to see how they do it.
Well, the one thing is they're going over a half-mile track, and I know some horses that they can't take the turns. They prefer bigger track. So this is where you're going to kind of see that versatility from these 2-year-olds, right? And the Stable.ca has done such a great job of promoting the brand, promoting fractional ownership. We've got, I think, 900 different owners this morning. I mean, that's amazing to me.
And we'll have lots of them on site here today. So for those that are joining us here at Northfield Park, welcome. And those that are tuning in on this Sunday morning, hopefully you got maybe a cup of coffee, a tea, whatever it might be. Hey, it's actually 11 o'clock already, so who knows what you might be having. But you're sitting back and enjoying what we will be bringing your way. So 6 races in total. Anthony's brought all of his cast of characters together here today to join for this. And we'll check in with Anthony throughout the morning. Curtis behind the scenes, I think, has already got him linked up, so we'll be able to chat with him following each baby race. For yourself, you'll be on the call. Sounds like you're battling a little bit of a cold here. So this guy right here, he's a gamer.
Yeah, we're gonna try to tough through it. We've got 6 this morning, 15 tonight. As of yesterday, in fact, I texted you last night and said, "Hey, I might need you to call the card tonight." Garnet Barnsdale's in the house. He's gonna call race 2 for us, so we're happy to have him alongside. But you know what? We're going to try to tough it out and see what we can do.
All right, should be a lot of fun. You can see the conditions right there. It is definitely a little warmer than 37 Fahrenheit, I can tell you that for sure. But you can see the track, not going to necessarily be lightning fast, but I think it looks in pretty good shape. And you guys have a great crew here at Northfield. The stable has really set up shop here, which if you go back to the original days of the stable, primarily out of Ontario, really migrated here to Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, all over. And I think that's the great thing about this is that we've got owners tuning in from all over and owners that have probably traveled here today from all over.
Yeah, and the big thing is, Anthony came down during COVID times. Things in Ontario were a little bit tough during that time. So, Anthony did a really good job of shipping pretty much his entire operation here. They currently have 82 horses stabled here on the grounds. It's amazing to watch their operation. And I tell our track crew all the time, they're always like, because they want to work the track consistently, right? And I said, always wait for Anthony. Wait for his team to be done, and then you guys can go do what you got to do. But they moved the entire operation here. Him and Jason McGinnis are awesome to work with. His wife, Amy, awesome to work with. So it's always fun, and it's gracious of us to be able to allow all these owners to the backstretch. I know some of the owners downstairs in the clubhouse will be checking out their horses later on.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's one thing that I think is just number one about TheStable.ca is the access, and that's part of the coverage that we're bringing you today. And I get a kick out of the fact that it's only a 10-minute drive for me from my place to where the stable is stabled at First Line Training Center, just near Mohawk. About a 5-something hour trip here today, but that's it. It's great to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun. Waiting to see the horses come onto the track for the first. You'll have the call here, and we'll kick things off with the Pacers, the rookie Pacers, all 2-year-olds again here today as we get to see the babies for the first time. And I noticed right away one name that stands out. He's one of the best drivers in the sport, Scott Zeron, making the trip here today, and definitely has been an integral member, I guess you could say, or at least a teammate of TheStable.ca in recent years and had plenty of success. So we'll see him here this morning, and it'll be interesting to get his feedback on some of the babies.
Who's Scott Zeron? The money man.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Listen, he won everything there was to win just about last year. Him and Linda Toscano teamed up to win the Little Brown Jug, and it was really cool to kind of see him come to Ohio. In fact, we had a dead heat, our first dead heat in a major stake right here at Northfield Park, and it involved Scott Zeron with You Can Do a Blue Chip and Zanata winning the Courageous Lady Stakes. So good on Scott to be here in town. I know he came last year. Some of our regular drivers are here as well, including Hunter Myers, Billy Davis Jr., Chris Lems is in the house here this morning as well. So some really talented drivers shipping in for Anthony here this morning.
Yeah, like I say, he's one of the best. Everybody knows that, but he was the best based on the fact that he was the driver of the year here in the United States last year was Scott Zeron. He was at Woodbine Mohawk Park last night. He was able to hit the road a little earlier than I was, so I was a little envious there, but always you're going to find him when the money's on the line. He is going to be showing up, and definitely one of those drivers, too, that can be real patient with the young horses, and that's exactly what you want. You want them to be taught. You want them to be brought along the right way. Yesterday at Woodbine Mohawk Park, I know we had 3 baby races. I know at the Meadowlands there was just a couple or a few yesterday. So it is early in the season. It's only June 2nd. I think a lot of people kind of aim, obviously, for this time of the year, but depending on weather throughout the winter or just, maturity, horses come along at a different rate. That said, here today, we've got 6 qualifiers in total, almost close to 30 horses, 30 babies that are ready to go. There's just going to be at different levels. There's going to be some that are clearly going to be ahead of the curve. Others, though, and as we see as the season goes along, you have your late bloomers. You have your horses that are maybe just a step behind. Doesn't mean they're not going to get there. So be curious to see who the leader of the packs are here today. Gives us kind of a nice indication heading towards these first few starts that'll be coming up later in the month.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one big thing, you're going to see a lot of Ohio breds. Anthony has really done a really good job of kind of supporting the Ohio program. And, of course, he supports many programs. But the Ohio bred program has really kind of taken off over the last several years. And you'll notice here in the first race, everybody is an Ohio sired, either colt or filly, as I believe they're coming onto the racetrack. So, he's got several in here, a couple down by the seaside. Who could forget Lather Up and what he did over at the Meadowlands in the graduate as well.
Well, I'll let you maybe get to the announcers booth here because I think we're going to get things going in just a couple of moments. Mike, thanks so much, and we'll be checking in all morning long. He'll be giving you the play-by-play description, and I like that you mentioned those stallions here. You go down the list, Down by the Seaside, Dancing Yankee, Lather Up, Catch the Fire. That's one thing about the stable, a lot of diversity when it comes to the various stallions that are represented in the barns and the various jurisdictions as well, whether it be here in Ohio, Ontario, New York, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, across the board. And it's nice to get that kind of feedback because throughout the winter you'll talk to some trainers and you'll ask them how their babies are coming along, whether they have one by this stallion or that stallion. one thing about the stable, usually you got some feedback on each and every stallion after all the rookies are acquired each and every fall. So we're getting set for the first qualifier. As I mentioned, we've got plenty of people that are going to be joining us throughout the morning, including the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Freddie McDonald. He'll be dropping by very soon. I think he's just going to get mic'd up here in a moment and join me on the desk, but the horses are coming out onto the track. Once again, a good morning to everybody that is tuning in. If you're following along on Facebook, leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Again, the stable reaches far and wide across the globe, so we want to know where you are tuning in from. And 6 qualifiers is what we'll have in total. And I see Freddie coming on into the room right now as he's going to swing on over and join me on the desk. And here he is. Freddie, how you doing?
Good to see you again, my man.
Good to see you.
I come in, you're talking diversity. Good time for me to drop in.
Absolutely. Well, you've made the venture here from the island. How was the trip, first of all?
Oh, it was unreal. Left at 6 o'clock in the morning and got to Toronto at 10:30. An hour and a half delay for an easy 35-minute trip from Toronto to Cleveland by air.
How about that?
It's almost as quick, or quicker actually, than going from Charlottetown to Halifax.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Who would have thunk it?
Well, I'm glad that you had some smooth travels. We did too on our drive down.
I watched you last night, by the way.
Yes. What did you think of the races last night?
I loved every minute of it. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, well, it was a fun night.
Hey, what about Nijinsky?
Nijinsky, he was outstanding.
The other horse sat in his back.
Yep.
Jody's horse at captain quarters sat in his back, and the other horse drew away.
I got to say, I was shouldn't say surprised, because I knew Nijinsky was a real nice horse, but I thought he was more of a trip horse. He showed another dimension to his game last night.
And fun time by Emma.
Yeah.
Not surprised the way he raced a couple of weeks ago. He was in command again yesterday. James' horse come wicked. Got shuffled back a little on the top turn and just got shuffled back a little too much. But he got home in 25 and 3, so they'd be happy. Everybody's happy, so it's going to make for a wicked weekend.
How about the local horses for the North America Cup? This might be as deep a group, and Captain Albanos of the world, some of the top horses in the States haven't even come up yet. It's a good group of horses.
They're not going to beat the horse in Woodbine.
I think you're right.
No.
I think that NA Cup trophy's staying in Ontario.
And what about the trot last night? Did you see James's hasty bid getting home?
Hasty
Dougie wins and hasty bid second.
Ghostly Casper was third.
Nice to send the Americans back across the board with nothing.
Oh, we forget where we are, right? We're right here in Northfield here
Yeah,
tonight,
that's right.
Freddie.
That's right.
I like that everybody comes into town. The more the merrier. Makes for some great racing. We got the first qualifier coming up here. It looks like they're getting set to go behind the gate. I would imagine they're going to get a good tour around the gate before they do start. So, Freddie, I see you got some notes here.
No, just Anthony gave me some notes this morning. In between rushing over to Starbucks.
I figured there was a.
So I said, what do you expect? But these are all pacers in the first section. We saw one of them yesterday. We went down yesterday to the Meadows yesterday afternoon.
Right.
Didn't have enough racing, so I had to get to the Meadows. So I went down there, and I see Rose Run Alexandra. Her sister won the gold yesterday in 52 and 3 at the Meadows. She looked very good too. She's number 2 here tonight with. I don't know the gentleman.
Chris Lems.
Okay.
Chris Lems. Yep, local gentleman here, and does pretty well. So he'll be in the sulky, and you see the rosters right there. And I do have confirmation. They'll go one lap around, as they like to do with the babies, give them that experience on the gate. I would have to think over the last few years, you've probably become more familiar with Ohio Sire Stakes, Pennsylvania Sire Stakes. I mean, the stable's everywhere.
They're everywhere. And by the way, Ohio, my mother's 3 sisters are all nurses, and they all lived in Ohio at one time. One of them now lives in Michigan. The other 2 are here in Ohio, not far from here.
Okay.
So I have relatives here, first cousins.
I just figured you knew people everywhere.
Well, that's true, too. But when you're old as I am, you get to know a lot of people. So, what about your hockey? I'm surprised. Any surprises last night?
No, I don't think so.
All these guys last year, Turkey Grant didn't do anything with the Rangers, and wait till they get a new coach. Well, they got a new coach. They beat Washington in the first round, the worst team in the playoffs. Only for their goaltender they wouldn't get by Carolina. And if it wasn't for Shesterkin, they would have been out in 4 straight against Florida. And what did the big guys do? Nothing.
Oh, you called it.
The bread man?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No high kicks. All right, let's go to Michael Carter. He'll have the call of our first baby race here this morning.
Thank you, Bart McKelvey, and the field moving in behind the starting gate here this morning. Gary Locke is our starter.
Oh, that's right.
They field of 5, picking up speed. Here they come.
So these are the ones that are next generation.
Yeah.
Use that right there.
Yeah.
These are the ones that he thinks next generation.
And they're off. They're pacing. Rose Run Alexandra up on the outside. Gorgeous Package flashes speed 2 with Foxy Seaside coming away third as they race into the first turn. Zeron and Rose Run Ajay came away in fourth, and Fire and Shine races in fifth as they move into the backstretch for the first time. Gorgeous Package, a 2-year-old filly by Lather Up, is on top here. She leads by a length and a quarter. In the pocket, Rose Run Alexandra is second with Foxy Seaside, 3 off the lead from third. Rose Run Ajay is fourth, and Fire and Shine is the trailer. Opening quarter in 30 and 4/5 seconds. Gorgeous Package has a 2.5 length lead over Rose Run Alexandra in second. It's 2 lengths further back to Foxy Seaside done at the inside third. Rose Run Ajay is about 6 off the lead from in fourth, and Fire and Shine is the trailer. By us they come for the first time. It is Gorgeous Package, the 2-year-old filly by Lather Up. She leads by a length and 3/4 over Rose Run Alexandra in second. It's a gap of 3 to Foxy Seaside in third, off a half of 1 minute, 4/5 seconds. Rose Run Ajay is down at the inside from in fourth, and Fire and Shine is the trailer as they head into the clubhouse turn for the final time. Gorgeous Package, the one to knock off, up by a length and 3/4 here over Rose Run Alexandra in second. 2.5 back to Foxy Seaside in third. Rose Run Ajay is fourth at this point, and Fire and Shine is at the back of this straight alignment as they head to 3/4. Gorgeous Package is there in 1:30 and 3. Into the far turn they go. Gorgeous Package is a 2.5 length leader. Fire and Shine at the inside is second. Foxy Seaside third, about 4.5 to make up. Then comes Rose Run Ajay and Fire and Shine. Top of the stretch, Gorgeous Package is the first one to turn for home, and she's up by 2.5 lengths. Rose Run Alexandra all out in second. Rose Run Ajay, a big move up the inside. Gorgeous Package wins by 2. Rose Run Alexandra, then Rose Run Ajay, Foxy Seaside, and Fire and Shine, 159 and 4.
Our first baby race of the morning complete, and Gorgeous Package, a Lather Up filly, goes a nice mile of 159 and 4 over what is clearly not a fast track this morning, as it's been raining all morning long. You can see the horses got pretty messy out there here, and that's a learning experience in itself, but this is a nice mile, 159 and 4, and looked really professional doing it. 29 and 1 was the final quarter, but I would guess probably front to back, only maybe 6-7 lengths separated them, so I thought everybody looked real good there.
Oh, I thought they were terrific. It's funny, you know, in the north this time of the year, all the tracks all over Canada, especially eastern Canada here and in the Ontario, Northfield, because of the weather, all the people, all the horsemen are 2 or 3 weeks ahead of where they normally would be. So this is what you're getting here, 59 and 4. That's a wicked trip. And guess who? Anthony's the race secretary, and who's driving that winner? See, that's what happened when you're a race secretary. You get to pick good horses.
Well, no, there you go. Gorgeous Package. So Gorgeous Package is a Lather Up, as mentioned. Now, Anthony, I know, has identified a few horses that he's kind of got on the radar for the Next Generation Stakes, which takes place at Scioto. I think it's right on July 1st this year. An opportunity to race 2-year-olds for some good money. It's essentially kind of just like the Mohawk Million. It's a buy-in format. You buy your slot, and then you find your horse. I know he identified Rose Run Ajay as one that they really like, and that 2-year-old colt, a Dancing Yankee Son, finished third. Scott Zeron was driving, and he took him up the passing lane there, and I thought he had some good pace on the end of his mile as well. You know, Scott's not going to go to the well here on them. He's just going to let them do their thing and feel things out, and that's the one thing about having a driver like him here today. But again, I didn't see anything there where anyone would be disappointed by what they saw from their 5 that went in there in that first qualifier.
Absolutely, in the mile, 59 and 4.
Yep.
I get a tip. Ollie told me today about the number 2 horse. This is Anthony's son.
Yes.
He's my baseball star.
Yeah, Ollie's with us on the set right now as Usually you can find him kicking around somewhere. I'm surprised he's not throwing the ball right now, but I guess he realizes we got lights and cameras around here, so you got to.
He's got football.
He's got his football. in his hand.
The Cleveland Browns football.
I learned this from Dad's uncles and my dad.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
Yep, absolutely.
He's
So.
broken way too many things in that house.
Well, let's not break anything in here. I want to make sure they ask us back a second year. But qualifier number 2 is what will come up next. There'll be just 4 of them here. So, hey, there you go. Ollie's made it on camera. So I knew you'd find some camera time. I just didn't know it'd be this early in the day. Our second qualifier, we will continue with Pacers, and it'll be just a field of 4 this time out. And I'm curious, too, if I'll ask Anthony because we will get a chance to talk to him in a bit. I'm curious, too, if there's been a bit of, hey, this is how I want things to shake out. Who's going forward? How do we just want to move? This one, though, is a little different because in our second qualifier, we have a couple horses that aren't part of the stable.
That's right.
CA. So that changes things a little bit, which is nice little wrinkle, too, to have them go up against something else.
Yeah.
So we've got qualifier number 2 coming up in about probably 6 or 7 minutes. Mike Carter informed me there just after the first qualifier that'll be about 10 minutes in between, which absolutely makes sense. I will say the one thing about having them as baby races and official qualifiers is that we know we're going to keep things moving. Sometimes those training days can take a little
I
while.
remember one year we were up in Toronto, one of the first ones we did,
Yep.
and it took us about 5 hours.
I remember the one there. I remember standing down in the shed row, and it was cold. I think it snowed about, I don't know how many inches by the time we were done.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel my toes, but I wasn't either going on the track, so imagine how everybody else felt, how long it took. But here today, dealing with a little bit of rain. We're dry, obviously, inside. And in the second qualifier, as mentioned, it'll be 4. Ollie mentioned it is kind of warm in here under the lights, but that's part of being on TV, Ollie. You got to handle the lights.
Before we get started now, we get a little break in the action. I know you call a lot of hockey games.
Yes.
London is in the Memorial Cup.
Yep, the finals tonight
Finals tonight.
against Saginaw.
They get a good team.
Oh, they're outstanding.
Really?
I think.
Unfortunately, I won't be at that one.
No, you won't be at that game, Ollie. But London, I called it just after the trade deadline that I thought they were the best in the OHL. I didn't realize how much they were the best maybe in Canada. Saginaw will give them a good game, though. They had a really close game in the round robin, but when they met in the playoffs, London beat them 4-2. So I think London, Dale Hunter's got quite the squad there, and they are very deep. The Leafs pick Easton Cowan is next level, and I think could push to make the NHL next year. So the one thing, you know what? They actually, this year at the Memorial Cup, snapped the streak, though. The QMJHL had won the Memorial Cup, I want to say, the last 4 editions.
I was going to say something. Our Charlottetown Islanders were in it 2 or 3 years. They should have made the final with a little bit of luck. A couple of bad calls. Anyway, there were cliffhangers that they lost. But anyway, they had a good team. They're in a rebuild year this year with Jim Holt, and he does a terrific job at Charlottetown Islanders.
Well,
so they're in a rebuild, and we'll wait and see. It's it's tough in junior hockey.
Oh, yeah.
You got people graduating.
It's
and
a cycle.
People cycle. So you end up, you got a lot of guys graduating and turnover and stuff like that. So, but the Hunters has done an amazing job.
Oh, it's quite the operation they got there. 9,000 people a night at what's essentially a mini NHL, so to speak. But I'll tell you, when you go in there for a game, there's nothing like it in junior hockey, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then you get looking around at the Leafs. Hunter,
Yep.
GM, maybe somebody made a mistake. It wouldn't be the first time.
You wouldn't be the first person to say that either. But
anyway,
that's it. So that's a little bit of the hockey talk. I think here in Northfield, if we bring Mike Carter in, we'll talk minor league ball. I know you could talk baseball all the time, right?
I love baseball.
So can Ollie. Ollie, how's the baseball been going this year?
It's been going good.
And you playing on both sides of the border again, or just back in Guelph?
Just Canada.
Yeah.
Have to make a commitment.
All right.
We're going up to back to Toronto tomorrow to watch Ollie plays Monday, Tuesday, and fly back to PI Wednesday.
Perfect.
But how about them Blue Jays? Speaking of Toronto, I got to tell you, haven't done a very good job with the shanty plan, hockey.
Yep.
Done an even more brutal job with the Blue Jays. You mean, without a doubt, the worst front office in baseball, without a doubt. And then you get the Raptors. They traded Pascal Siakam, an All-Star, and how's that turning out? Anyway, you guys hear him going with this story.
Yep. There's a reoccurring theme
Thank
going
God
on.
they got Woodbine Mohawk.
Absolutely. We got some great racing going on up
Jays,
there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got blown up by Chicago of all teams.
Oh, there you go. Ollie's even chiming in here. Ollie, I think we got to find out when it's your draft year because you can't get to the Jays quick enough. They need that help. They need maybe a little A little support everywhere.
Good guidance.
They kind of forget about just making contact. They swing for the fences every time, right? So,
Yeah, they
Doesn't work.
no, you would know. You got to get on base, right?
and not about those
It's
trades. They
crazy.
haven't been doing too good there either. Anyways, I
Win on
had
one,
to,
you gotta win on defense.
anyways.
Yeah, we got to get back to the action here. Qualifier number 2, and
What about last night? I can't
Yep.
get over last night. Terrific. I watched between Northfield, Meadows, Northfield, and Mohawk last night. I watched all the races.
you didn't miss one.
The Colts were terrific.
They
Any
were-
of the graduate was even good too.
Yep. There was a lot of real nice performances there last night, and I like the one thing about those races last night because they're a bit of a crapshoot. For the folks that work in the race office, depending how many enter, you can have some small fields. We had good field sizes in all of them, meant for good racing and lots of entertainment and some good action. And I mean that trot race that you mentioned, the graduate trot, Osceola won, Hasty Bid was second. I mean that was a good group of horses all right there. That was a great finish to that race as well.
What's his name had won last night? Scotty, or no, it was Yannick that drove.
He had a win at Punt in the last dollar.
yeah.
In the last graduate division.
Yeah, and then the horse that Oakey had last year that made the Mark went and Vernon with him at 50-3. What's his name? He's a brother to him in here today.
So I mean that's some good racing going on, and now
Yeah.
we'll look ahead to next weekend. Lots of Grand Circuit action coming up, and then the babies they get right into things, and Sire Stakes action will heat up as well. And I'd have to think if Anthony has a calendar, do you think he's got it mapped out every place he's going to be every single day? I feel like he's going to be on the road a ton here over the next couple months.
Absolutely. So when's the first stake race?
For the 2-year-olds?
Yeah.
Well, here in Ohio, the next generation is on July 1. So I would think I don't imagine there's a Sire Stake just before that, but I don't want to be quoted for sure. I know back in Ontario, they've added a stake race this year that used to be run through New York or at the Meadowlands, the Tompkin and Gear Stakes.
Oh, yeah?
Just a minor stake for 2-year-olds, and it's going to be on the last week of June. So if you've got a baby that's ready to go, it's an opportunity maybe to make a little money right off the hop, and then the Sire Stakes start just after that. And I think for every trainer that probably paid into that, you probably paid in if you had one that was coming along real well, and you thought, okay, this one at least is going to be ready. And I think for some other trainers, it's all right, we're not going to necessarily aim for that, but if we're ready, right? Like there's no point in
Absolutely.
really rushing it, but if you've got one ready to go, you might as well. And I saw a trainer yesterday at Mohawk that I was surprised to see him in on the very first day, and that was Luke Blay. They got some big price horses, well-bred horses. They are known for really taking their time, especially in the qualifiers, very conservative approach. But I think what you mentioned about how good the winter was, their horses are just ready to go.
It's like Charlottetown. My brother Sock has a nice filly down there, and Jamie Smith trains it, and Jamie's got about 3. They've been around 2.7 right now, and the first stake race is July 1st in Summerside, and I think Churro is a day or two. Churro has one after that, but I think July 1st in Summerside, and I know they're way ahead. They're 2 or 3 weeks ahead, so it'll be interesting to see. It like today, 59-4 in an off track.
Yeah,
You know,
that's not a
say
bad
what you
mile
want.
at all. I mean, if you thought in the first start they were going to go about 59, you wouldn't be shaking your head at that. You'd say that's okay. It's a good little start, especially on a half-mile track. This is obviously a very fast half-mile track here at Northfield, and home for these horses as well. That's the one thing, is that I have to think the fact that they're training on a track like this all the time, they can go to any half, probably any size surface, and they'll be fine moving to the bigger tracks. I mean, a lot of times you're talking to folks that are got to make that transition, one that's only raced on a big track, and how are they going to handle going 4 turns.
That's it. And then the other thing here is surprising is the distance. It's about 2.5 hours, about 2 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes from here to the Meadows. Then from Meadows over to Chester, what do you call it?
Yep, Philadelphia there.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, Paris,
It's
Philadelphia.
another 3.5 hours. So it's a lot of travel.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say that living in Ontario, you hear about, we got to go to London tonight from,
That's it.
Mohawk. It's about an hour and a half. That's nothing for the folks around here.
That's like it's down in PEI. Summerside's up the road about 40 minutes up the road.
Right.
And they complain they got to go all the way up there. How would you like to be down here going 3 hours in between?
It's definitely a case of these guys, I think, are, I don't want to say built a little different, but that's just what they do. That's all you know. Some trainers don't have to go too far, and hey, if that's your case and you like it, can't really blame you at all. So just looking at the group of 4 here, and as we mentioned, we've got a few horses from the stable that are going to go forward, but we mix in a couple others as well.
Ventura.
So Blue Ventura, this is a Heston Blue Chip gelding. Hunter Myers, who was the winner in the very first baby race, will be behind this one. A Heston Blue Chip, and again, it goes back to what I said.
Yeah.
You can probably find any stallion. If you got it in your stallion book, it's probably a good chance one of those horses is
Yep.
in the stable.
Yep.
And I'm just taking a closer look at Blue Ventura here, and I always find it interesting when you try to figure out how some of these horses might have come to be and their yearling prices. Here's one that never did pass through a sale. So
It must be. It's a homebred.
Yeah, what Odds On
one.
Racing was the breeder on this one, but the mare Odds On Aventura, we'll check with Anthony to see how this one came to be.
I think they have, the stable has about a dozen brood mares.
Yes.
I think Anthony told me that 11 of them were in foal last year, and so the foals are coming along now. So he's got about 10 or 11 homebreds. So.
And that's one way to build up a roster as well. And
Or go broke.
Or go broke.
It's not as easy. People turn around
Yep.
and say, you just go buy a mare and you breed it to a stallion. Well, it doesn't, sounds great in theory, and it sounds good. And then again, oh, the mare aborted. Oh, then something happened, it gets sick. It's got to go to the vet college for 3 months. Oh, yeah, what's the bill there?
Yep.
$11,000. Okay, I see. It's not as easy as it looks.
No, not
Just
at all.
go, you got to have a good location. And even at the best locations, accidents happen.
Absolutely.
And who knows what happens? They abort the foal. It's heartbreaking. But
Well-
anyway.
Well, just looking at Blue Ventura, this is the second foal out of a Some Beach Somewhere mare who had one winner sell. She did make it to the races. That's something I always look for, even if they don't have a lot in earnings or they didn't race for long. Did they get there? Did they get to the winner's circle? It's just a little something else you can add to their belt.
And then you have a small sample size.
Yep.
So you don't really know. So then you look at the second and third dams of some of these babies. They're all well enough bred, and then you look at second, third dams, you
Yep.
see the power back there. So you just don't know.
Oh, you don't know at
It's a big
all. You're right.
crapshoot.
And then for a Heston Blue Chip is probably a sire or a stallion, I should say. It probably doesn't get too much attention, right? But
Yep, no.
you look at some of his best performers lifetime, and they always have some nice ones, right?
Yep.
Fulton is a nice 4-year-old pacer, all class as well. So they've kind of come on in the last couple of years. A couple of nice Heston Blue Chips. The other horse we were taking a closer look at is number 4, Dancin' in My Socks. Dancin' Yankee. Dancin' Yankee was a real cool horse,
Yep.
a real battler across Ohio, and then ventured into some other parts. Took a real impressive mark in his career. How about the fact 147 and 2 was his best of his career, and if I remember right, it was on a smaller track. So I mean, that's just kind of horse that and the stallion he'll probably be throwing some versatile, or I should say, a stallion of some versatile horses.
And then look at the granddad. It's American Ideal, one
Yep.
of the great sires in New York. Great Grand Circuit sires as well. And he's raced in the half-mile track up in Flamborough. Remember,
Yes,
he won
that's right. Won the Confederation Cup.
There you go.
All right, well, the horses are going around doing their tour as we got 4 of them up on the gate. Michael Carter will have the call of qualifier number 2.
4 rookie pacers lined up on the gate. We have Red Bull and Tyler Angus from the rail, Blue Ventura and Hunter Myers from post 2, VH Dancer for Chris Lems from post 3, and Dancing in My Socks, Jason Merriman from post 4. These pacers are in the hands of the starter, and here they come. They're off and pacing. Dancing in My Socks looking to blast from the outside. Red Bull protecting the railing, going right to the front for Tyler Angus. That's Red Bull taking a sizable lead in the first turn. Blue Ventura makes it to the 2-hole. And Dancing in My Socks drops in third with VH Dancer racing fourth. So down the backstretch they go for the first time with Red Bull. This half-brother to $475,000 earner, new talent, leads him past the quarter. And that quarter station is reached in 29 and 4. Red Bull by 2 lengths. Blue Ventura sitting second. $11,000 Buckeye Stallion Series by VH Dancer sits third, and Dancing in My Socks races fourth. And Red Bull leads them as they're going to come in front of the stands for the first time with Blue Ventura remaining in second. Dancing in My Socks sits third. VH Dancer fourth as they head towards the half. Red Bull looking comfortable on the lead as they hit the half-mile pole in 1 minute and 4/5. No movement yet. Blue Ventura remaining in the pocket. Dancing in My Socks third, and starting in from fourth is VH Dancer. As they bend around the clubhouse turn for the final time, it's still Red Bull in command. Blue Ventura closing up the pocket slightly, and now VH Dancer making a move from fourth, going first up for Chris Lems as they hit the three-quarter pole. It's still going to be Red Bull in front in 1:30.1. VH Dancer with a bold challenge on the outside, and Blue Ventura sitting in the pocket. Sorry, Dancing in My Socks in the pocket, Blue Ventura fourth. And we got a new leader as they turn to the top of the stretch. It's VH Dancer taking over control. Dancing in My Socks comes out of the pocket, looking to maybe go up the inside here. Blue Ventura on the outside. Red Bull Resilient. Blue Ventura holding the lead. Sorry, VH Dancer. It's VH Dancer in front. Blue Ventura, Red Bull, and Dancing in My Socks fourth. The mile time is 2 minutes and 3/5.
How you doing?
All right, we're back here at the desk after baby race number 2. VH Dancer takes that one for owner-trainer Tim Van Horn. Chris Lems in the bike, another decent mile, 2 minutes and 3/5 over an off-going track. And you mentioned it. I think I saw the exact same thing. Head of the lane there, it looked like Anthony went to move number 2, Blue Ventura, and that one might have hooked wheels with another one of its rivals there for just a second, or at least they got into tight quarters. That's the thing. They're green, these horses still.
That's right. And then when he came back on,
Yeah, and
he
that's
flew
the thing,
by
right?
them. So he did hook wheels, I'm pretty sure of it.
One thing I like to watch, especially in the qualifiers, is what they call the run out, and that's after the mile when they get past the wire. Because again, everybody's method in a day like today, everyone's probably on the same page. But especially when you're watching just regular qualifiers, everyone's kind of got their own idea of what they want to go, what they're looking to do. For the most part, everyone just wants to finish up strong. But a lot of times, you watch them go that next quarter after the wire.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
some of them are gone by everybody, and they're lengths ahead, and they got that look of them, right? They're well within themselves, or now they're stretching out a little bit.
Yeah, that's like the old school trainers. They make them finish. Don't stop there. Keep going up the quarter pole.
Yep, and so we saw in that one a mile of 2 minutes and 3/5. Final quarter was 30-2. VH Dancer made a nice move there, so I think Tim Van Horn has to like this one. Another dancing Yankee, and that's a filly that stops the clock and got there first. So 2 qualifiers are now complete. Next up will be our 3rd qualifier, and we're going to switch over to the trot. And you mentioned maybe the trotters are sometimes would you say Anthony prefers the trotters, or do you prefer the trotters?
No, I prefer the trotters too, but Anthony prefers the trotters. No two ways about it. And I noticed it's 22 trotters and 9 pacers. That is about the breakup. If you charted Anthony's horses from the time they started the stable, it's about that ratio, about 2/3, maybe 70% trotters and so many pacers. But that's the way it goes. He loves the trotters and he excels at it, and he loves hanging them out and playing with them and so on and so forth. So we'll have to wait and see. And he's got pickpocket.
Yes.
He'll be up your way next week in there.
On the good times.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think he's up there now.
probably already has
Yeah.
made the trip and
Yep.
joined the crew up there. And
Yeah.
some of the crew actually came down here to Northfield for today, including one of the trainers, Dominic Ledoux.
Yep.
Dom is down here, so he made the trip. But good crew holding the fort down back.
Yeah,
in
and you're
Ontario.
old, and you're a stalwart here with Anthony. I thought, where's your buddy Gillespie? Anthony said you might have to fill in. Gillespie's not allowed to come down. That's what Anthony told me. So I don't know.
Well, we can repeat that. We can send that to Jimmy. I think it's a little hard sometimes to get him out of his comfort zone, but
Yeah, I was
he's
surprised.
happy at home.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be watching the TV.
Oh, he's probably not missing any of this. In fact, I'm surprised he hasn't sent me any messages to give me his thought on either some pedigree or what he's seeing.
Before I left PEI, I was talking to my good friend Wally McGinnis. And Wally worked for Francis McIsaac for years and years until the accident in August 31st, 79. And then the next 3 years, Wally came here to Northfield with Bobby Stevenson. That'd be Mike Stevenson and then Mike's dad.
All
And
right.
they came here for 3 years before going back
All right.
to
Well,
Marcel.
we got to check in with Anthony.
There he is.
Anthony is standing by over in the
Oh,
paddock.
that was momentum morning.
And I'll see if you can hear us. Anthony, you got us?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah.
There we go. All right. I see you're standing by with a special guest. So it looks like you got Hunter Myers with you. What's going on over there? What are your thoughts so far?
Just waiting for the sun to come out, but it's being real tardy today. Yeah, it's a bit muddy. The track's a little slick, but the horses are good. And the colt there, so we pointed out they hooked the wheel in the last one. And as I said to Scott, it's all about learning today. It's all about learning.
Yeah, what do you think of those miles,
you
though?
can barely
Those
see
are
anything out
decent.
there with the water on the track. Smart though, we did hook up for a second. He was good.
Well, I think we might have a little bit of a delay. You can hear us, I think, right now.
Can you hear us better now?
Are you able to hear us?
Yeah. So in the first set, we did have a filly that I like. All those fillies I like, but the filly that Hunter went with is actually kind of one of those horses that just jump up, right? She was an afterthought purchase in the middle of summer last year, and she's just turned out to be a sweetheart here training, and she looked great today. And this is the first time you went with her.
Yeah.
What did you think of her?
Really nice. I mean, of course, young horse range, but she handled herself really well and showed she has a lot of potential, especially if I asked her to go on a little bit. She was well willing and,
She got a great attitude. That's the one thing, we train these horses in all types of situations all winter long, whether it be the snow or the mud or the ice or the rain. And it just shows up today, for these horses just to go out and do their work. A lot of them, quite frankly, are seeing the gate for the first time. And to come out, do their work in the mud like this it's just a testament to the hard work everybody put into them all winter long. And now I'm glad. I don't say it very often, but I appreciate you and Chris, and especially Scotty. We'll talk to him in a bit, and Billy coming out to the horses today. It does mean a lot because it's nice to have people sit behind the horses. For us, we sit behind them all the time, so you get a feel for them.
Right.
But to get a fresh set of eyes, fresh set of hands on them, it means a lot. I appreciate it.
not a problem. Anytime.
Maybe next week then.
I missed the barbecue.
Yeah, you're gonna miss the barbecue.
Yeah, I missed it.
Anyway, we're gonna head right out with the third qualifier right now. See if we can get these horses through this inclement day.
All right. Thank you very much, Anthony. Appreciate it. And as he mentioned, we got qualifier number 3 coming up next. We're going to switch over to the trot. Anthony makes friends with everybody, though, right?
Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
the crew he can get out here on a day like today, right?
Well, that's it. Can you imagine? Of course, that's Anthony.
Yep.
He's a power personality. He's a great speaker, great motivator. And you got to listen to him every now and then. I don't know how Amy does it. I'm going to give Amy a Purple Heart.
Well, I'll tell you, when I get a phone call and I see Anthony McDonald pop up, I know, okay, it's either going to be right to the point or it's going to be a long conversation. It's either one or the other. Anthony has a good group of trotters coming forward here. 5 of the 6 are members of the stable. It looks like Steve Cross is going to send one out himself, and that is Count on Kenna. But now we'll take a closer look at some of these trotters. I know you've got some of your notes. We got the pedigrees here. But Memento Mori is one that I think we should take a closer look at here for a second. A $95,000 Lexington Select Yearling Sale purchase. A Chapter 7, now a gelding. And here's one that the stable shares ownership with Hutchinson Harness. And I just see right there, there's a name that pops out. The mare, Muscle Hill mare, Gone Baby Gone. She's the dam of Kierkegaard K. That's the one you were mentioning a little bit earlier.
K, yeah.
That had a real nice season last year, up until this point as well. A couple of seasons. His 2-year-old year, he did all right, but last year a mark of 50-3, nearly $400,000 earned. So Hey.
Yeah, I saw her winning at Vernon last year. Mark drove her at Vernon for Okie Swanstead. So, yeah, very nice horse. Very nice. And look at this. The star of the dam is Vereen, the great international star that raced. Last time they had the big race in Montreal, the international trot. I think it was the last one at Blue Bonnets. I think that was the winner.
That's right. I think you're right there.
Yeah.
The Trot Mondial. That was
quite
a race, right?
That's
that
right.
was a race
That's
that attracted quite the who's who over the years, especially that heyday around when Varenne was making the trips. And you think of the horses that raced in here in North America, went to Europe, or vice versa. Around that time, it was quite frequent. Look at Moneymaker.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's one of the greatest trotters of all time.
Yeah, and it's a
went
dam.
back and forth.
It's a dam of some of the ones that are in here.
Yes, yeah.
That Love You.
Yep.
Love You's Cocktail Jet. Cocktail Jet's got American breed back in the third or fourth dam. In fact, the mare that the horse that I raised, the Big Fred, it's the third dam of this Cocktail Jet.
There you go.
So yeah, it's a little background on him. But it's funny, we're in Sweden. Gail and I are 217, and we visit the big farm down there, Margaritas. What do you call it, the stud farm? Where
Manhammer?
Manhammer.
Yep.
That's where Maharaja was?
Yep.
So afterwards, we're talking to the vet, and the vet goes along and said, do you know any of these trotters? And I said, that one right there, I do. And it was super nice. My friend from Charlottetown, Richard Bradley, he was a trainer, caretaker for Stanley Dancer for 25 years. And Richard looked after that mare. So I told him, I said, I was in New York a long time ago when Richard had that mare, and she won that night. And he said that mare was, when she died, the lady that owned the stud for Margarita, she had the horse cremated, and the ashes sent to New York where she was born.
That's really neat, isn't it? That's
Unbelievable.
That's a great story.
That's a Richard Bradley story. And by the way, Richard and his partner ended up, Peggy Bishop, they were the Paddock judges at the Little Evangelic.
There you go.
Yeah, little background from
Quite a small,
Ohio.
Small world, right? Bring
Small
it right
world.
back to
Yep.
Ohio. Horses coming on the track for a third qualifier. There's number 1, Westland Warrior, and the dam here, Westland Legacy. She's a daughter of Winson's Legacy, a Triple Crown winner for Tron Smedshammer. But Westland Legacy, she's been a real nice brood mare. She made 6 figures herself on the track, but she's thrown some nice trotters, including Westland Quest, a winner of over $500,000, and a trotter that took a mark of 150 and 4, and in fact was even beaten in 150 and 2. And then there's Westland Dancer, who is the dam of Chimpanzee. So hey, there is some nice bloodlines here, and I'm intrigued to see how Westland Warrior, the next from this line out of Westland Legacy, is able to perform. Jason Merriman will do the driving. So this is one I certainly had circled. A Father Patrick that sold at last year's Lexington Select Sale for $42,000. Arrowhead Hanover is then the next one. Anthony listed to go behind that one will be number 2 here. International Money. Anthony seems to like the international money.
Well, I love it. Do you know what? I was up in Campbellville 3 years ago when Anthony arrived with the first crop of international monies. And off came Spitfire Overseas, Crantini, Michael Cardadeo.
Yes.
And there's one other I'm missing too. But they're that good. I saw a video last week on Okie Swanstead. He's got, I think, one or two international monies. So if Okie's got them.
Hey. That's usually a good sign-off, right?
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. I want to go to the outside, number 6, Freedom Hill. We heard from Hunter Myers there a moment ago. He's already steered a winner this morning. He's going to sit behind this What the Hill filly. What the Hill is an interesting horse to me because a lot of ties back right here to Ohio. And for Freedom Hill, out of a Chapter 7 mare, just looking at the pedigree page here, and this is her first foal. So I'm always intrigued by the first foals.
Absolutely.
A little bit of an unknown for sure. Always, and the other thing that catches my eye usually is first colts, how they end up performing. But first foal overall here for this Chapter 7 mare. And I look at this group of trotters. You can find something that you like about all of them just on the pedigree pages.
What's that, a Chapter 7?
Chapter 7 mare out of, and it's a What the Hill is this filly. So, like I said,
we
tying it
all
back
know
to
about What the
Ontario.
Hill.
Yes.
It's a hell of a sire
Yep.
right here in Ohio. But a Grand Circuit type sire, in my opinion. What the Hill? Well, you look at Ohio with the Pro Stakes program.
Yep.
They took the interior program and moved it down to Ohio. And look at it now. It's a hot place to be, race horses.
It's very similar, right? And I think it's just continuing to boom. In fact, I imagine the folks here have to just be really excited for when you're going to get that Ohio sired horse that's going to go on and just dominate the Grand Circuit. You get that pride. Just like
That's
last
right.
night. I mean, yeah, home for me is Ontario, and to watch in the graduate trot, the top 3 finishers all be Ontario sired horses. You like seeing that, right? You got your hometown pride, so to speak, and the folks here in Ohio, they definitely wear it well. Another horse to take a closer peek at is number 4, The Priest. Chris Lems will sit behind this. It's a Pastor Stephen colt. You don't see too many Pastor Stevens, at least for the racing that I watch for the most part, right?
Funny how, you know how those horses got their names? You know how they got their names? Father Patrick and those horses?
Yes.
What's his name that owned Art Zubrod was running Brittany Farm, still does, with his wife Leah. And Leah is great friends with, how did it go? Leah's great friends with her at the wedding with Father Eric Dunn. And Art thought so much of Father Eric Dunn, he ended up calling these horses Pastor Stephen. Eric Dunn, yeah, he's a priest. That's, he didn't know he had an influence. He did have horses, brother-in-law had horses in the race game.
Hey, it is Sunday morning.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. Maybe the priest is going to do some good work here on this Sunday morning.
I give my blessing. Nomine Patre et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Go, my friends, in peace. That's what happens when you're an altar boy 50 years ago.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I learned something new every time.
There you go. You didn't know it could have been a priest, did you?
No.
Well, it could have been.
What I find interesting, I was going to mention about the priest, just because we'll tie this all back together. The breeders, Delaware Valley University, and I think sometimes I see them out at the Harrisburg sale. That's where this fella comes from. He was a graduate at that sale for $8,000, so could be a bargain price, right? You never know. The priest could have a chance to go on and
paid $900 for fresh Yankee.
There you go. Yep.
Could be another one. How do you know?
Yep. I think one of the best that I always think about is Mr. Muscleman. I think he sold for $4,000.
Yep.
And then what do you go on and make about $3 million?
Yep.
It just shows you they can start anywhere. And the other reason is sometimes you just got to stay through the sale. You can just find them. Sometimes they slip through the cracks, and I know we talk about that each and every fall. I was wrong. I had them doubled. It was $2,000 yearly, Mr. Muscleman at Tattersalls back in 2001, and went on to make $4 million. So I was selling them short there. $4 million, and a horse that, if you want to go back to what we were talking about, horses that went from North America to Europe, he went over to the Elite Lot and did really, really well. I hope we get to see either a Canadian or U.S.-based horse go to the Elite Lot again very soon, because it's always fun to see our trotters go to Europe, see how they perform. It's one of the best shows in racing. I've never been, but it's certainly on the bucket list.
Gail and I were down there at the 270 in the World Driving Championship. Was tied into the Elite Lot, and we went to Savella. Honest to God, I get scared in heights. I was up to the 5th floor. I said to Gail, I got to get out of here. I got a fear I'm going to jump or something. It's massive.
Yeah.
And all the countries and all the following. The European trotters, unbelievable. The French were there, the Germans, the Italians, everybody. And live it. And, well, excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, we have a great facility at Woodbine Mohawk. I love Mohawk. And I love Charlottetown. The venue is perfect in Charlottetown. They do a great job, the boys down there. And I love watching the races there. You feel so proud when you go to a nice facility.
Absolutely.
You want to take people back because it's just like Saturday night. It was a great show. Do you want to come back? And it's like Charlottetown because you're down right near the fence where you can see the horses.
You're right up
now,
there.
downtown at Woodbine, or downtown at the old track, you're way back. So you can't see anything. But you're in Mohawk, you can.
Absolutely.
In Charlottetown, you can. Northfield's right here. Same thing.
There's been some really good crowds at Mohawk over the last few Saturdays. There's a really good crowd here today, just below us down in the dining area
couldn't
here
believe
at
it.
Northfield. You're guessing probably 150 to 200 people down
Yeah,
there.
unbelievable. Couldn't believe it. From all over the place. Some from Kansas that own shares in the stable.
That's it. That's it.
Cape Breton and shares. I said, Jesus, come from Cape Breton and coming from Kansas to Mohawk.
Talk about
I saw Marcia down there a few minutes ago. She's from Kansas, a vet, and she's a horse owner, a great person.
All right.
Love to see her be a USTA member representing that area. She'd be super.
That's great, right?
Yeah.
You want to see them across, right across the map.
Yep.
So the horses are going to line up for qualifier number 3. It is 2-year-old trotters here. If I'm going to make a prediction, I'm going to go with the one Westland Warrior. Absolutely nothing on the line for why I'm making that pick, but one that I'm just intrigued by the pedigree page this one had. And as a graduate of the Lexington Select Sale, I remember when the stable purchased it. So always like to follow those ones that we were there that day.
I'm going to take Anthony. He's the race secretary.
Yeah, he's setting up for himself, right?
He tells me he's going to let somebody else win. He loves to see that. We'll see.
All right, so the horses are lining up. And
no, he might want them back next year, so he might let them win.
That's it, right? You got to keep everybody happy if you got them to come out today. All right, let's go to Mike Carter. This time he is on the mic. Didn't give a chance to give a shout out to Garnet Barnsdale. Did a nice job there with qualifier number 2.
Thank you, Mark McKelvey, and the field moves into the far turn for race number 3 here at MGM Northfield Park. Gates rolling. Pick up speed. Here they come. They're off. They're trotting. Memento Mori gets the first call. In between horses, the Priest flashes speed there too, with Count on Kenna 3 wide into the initial turn. Westland Warrior at the inside came away third with Arrowhead, Hanover, and Freedom Hill is the trailer. Into the backstretch they go. It is the Priest who leads by a length and a quarter over Memento Mori in second. Westland Warrior down at the inside is third. Arrowhead, Hanover is fourth. It's a gap of 2 lengths further back now to Count on Kenna, and Freedom Hill is the trailer. Opening quarter in 31 and 4/5 seconds. Into the far turn they go for the first time. And on the lead here is the Priest. The Priest leads by a length and a quarter over Memento Mori in second. Westland Warrior third, only 3.5 lengths off the lead. Arrowhead, Hanover down at the inside, races next. It's 3 lengths further back to Freedom Hill. And Count on Kenna is the trailer. It is the Priest. The Priest leads by a length and a quarter in 103 and 4. Into the clubhouse turn they go. Memento Mori is second. Freedom Hill's on the outside while third. Then comes Westland Warrior down at the inside from in fourth. A length and a quarter in front of Anthony McDonald and Arrowhead, Hanover. And it's 3 lengths further back to Count on Kenna. Up the backstretch they go. Freedom Hill and Hunter Myers take over the top spot from the Priest and Chris Lems. Here comes Scotty Z and Memento Mori up on the outside with Arrowhead, Hanover. Then comes Westland Warrior and Jason Merriman and Count on Kenna and Kevin Cross. 3/4, 1:33 and 4. Into the far turn they go. Freedom Hill, the one to knock off, up by a length and a quarter. Memento Mori is in the pocket second with Arrowhead, Hanover in third. As they come to the top of the stretch, Freedom Hill is the first one to turn for home. Memento Mori is coming on the outside. Memento Mori and the money man Scott Zeron to win by a length and 3/4. Freedom Hill second. Arrowhead, Hanover was third. Then came Westland Warrior, the Priest, and Count on Kenna in 2:03.
All right, Memento Mori takes qualifier number 3. Scott Zeron in the sulky at the controls here, just letting this Chapter 7 gelding do his thing. Stops the clock in 2:03. I'll have to ask Anthony, too, if just over the morning the track might just get a little tougher for them as it continues to rain a bit. But that's a nice effort, and what I liked was he made the move up the backstretch going to 3/4, tucked back into the 2-hole, moves out and comes by down the lane. And you mentioned as well, you love the body language of Scott.
Same as I like when Scotty and James Arthur are training horses, especially babies. They never send them down the highway. Never. They're always giving them a race. When they come off the racetrack, they feel like even if the horse gets beat, he says, "I'll get them next week." I was closing with a ton of horse.
Yep.
And I always think that's important. That is very important. You start getting them beat in their training miles, and they lose interest.
Well, you mentioned too about Memento Mori, the fact that this again was one that is a sibling to Kierkegaard K, and there's one that went a huge mile as a 3-year-old of 150 in a piece.
Yep.
So, hey, if it can get close to that, even close would be amazing, right? So,
Absolutely.
but this is when you buy those horses and they've got that kind of pedigree, at least you think, hey, there's a chance we got something here.
And the race secretary, Anthony, did good. His horse was second
Yep.
and third in closing,
Yep.
beating a bit of length.
That's-
A race good and closed him off the pace and come from behind, storm down the stretch. So that's what you want.
Absolutely. 2:03 was the final time. The final quarter was 29-1 for the race. Sitting in the 2-hole turn for home, at least, was the winner, Memento Mori. So it's probably about 29 seconds, 28-4. That's a nice final quarter there. You can see the crew is out working on the track right now.
Yep.
3 more baby races to go on this Sunday morning. Thanks so much for joining us. TheStable.ca open house continues on here. And as we pull up the comment section, I know it's been firing away there on YouTube. So we'll check in on that one here in a second. But let us know where you are tuning in from this morning, where you're watching from. Freddie mentioned we got people in attendance coming all the way
Hey,
from
downstairs.
Kansas. Ontario's represented, like we said. So it's nice to get everybody here today. Just taking a look through some of the comments here.
And you
You've
can
got Earl watching, or I should say Richard watching in Largo. How about that?
Largo.
Largo.
Never heard of it.
We also have Earl. Earl was watching. I mentioned. I know he was watching. He's watching from the Villages in Florida. We also have Gareth watching from Denver, Colorado. They don't have too much harness racing in Denver.
I was just gonna say.
John Hall is watching from Coburg, Ontario. We also have Mitchell tuning in from Las Vegas. And then we have Norman watching from Battleground, Washington. Again,
But I don't
we've
think
got the
there's-
map covered here
I
this
don't
morning,
think
Freddie.
there's any racetracks in those locations, is there?
Hey, if there was a racetrack there, we would have found it by now, right?
Right.
I'd have to think. I was talking on the way down with another one of your sons, Curtis,
Oh,
our man
yes.
behind the scenes putting it together, and we were naming tracks that don't even exist anymore. He was telling me a story about a horse. I think it came into the care of Anthony from Rockingham Park. I think that was New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So how about that,
That's a
right?
long
Like
time ago.
that track's not open anymore. I think it was a mile track.
Brandywine. is another one.
Brandywine, nope, no
Yeah.
Brandywine. Definitely.
Rockingham's gone. Brandywine's gone. The ones in the Maritimes is gone. Sackville Downs and Halifax is gone. See, a Truro Raceway is going to have a reunion of Sackville Downs people that raced there starting out. Billy O'Donnell's going to be down there. He raced some.
Oh yes.
And his uncle Art Porter was a fabulous driver in the Maritimes. Won a couple of major races. Gold Cup and Saucer with a horse called Fireball.
There you go. We'll have to
Yeah.
get Billy O back on the desk here one day.
Billy O's hilarious. But anyway, he's going down to the Sackville Downs thing, reunion at Truro Raceway in, I think, September 15th or first and second week of September. Not 100% sure. But there's a lot of guys that'll be going. Carl Jameson's another
Yep.
one to race there.
And I think last night I found interesting there was a horse that raced at Mohawk, an Illinois bred.
Yeah, it's
It raced in the graduate, and it's too bad there's not as much racing as there once was because Chicago was such a hotbed. Balmoral, Maywood,
Sportsman's Park.
Sportsman Park. Yeah, there you go. And then now Hawthorne has their meet. It's not what it once was though, but you still like to see. If someone's going to bring a horse from Illinois like that, you want to see them do well. You hope they can do well because you like to see places like that represented, and you want the sport to be strong in all jurisdictions.
Absolutely. There was a guy from Charlottetown, by the way. His name is Lou Forbes, Shaky Louie, they called him. And he, when a horse goes to the winner's circle and Sportsman Sharp in Chicago, Shaky Louie would lead him into the winner's circle. That was his job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
Lloyd Arnold from the Arnold Cattle Company, he was one of the main owners down there in Chicago. And he had Ramblin' Willie. Robert Farrington drove, yeah.
We don't have to say that name twice. You'll
Yep.
certainly know. We've also got viewers tuning in from Columbus, so not too far away. Watching from Michigan as well is Marty. So good to hear from everybody. Appreciate you guys dropping a line. Abbotsford, BC is represented by John Gilbert. So we've got the whole country's, I should say the
All you
continent.
need is somebody from Mexico. Anybody down that?
There's probably a chance somebody
no,
is.
No doubt. No
You know,
doubt.
there'd be somebody who's probably
By
tuning
the
in.
way, Columbus, Ohio, I was telling Marcy downstairs, Columbus, Ohio, PEI, Colonel McKinnon, was one of the original founding owners of the United States Trotting Association in 1939, and his picture is down there in Columbus. And the Maritimes, Atlantic Canada, was part of the USTA from 1939 till 2001.
Isn't that something?
It is.
Yeah.
Like Mark and Anthony got their license from the United States Trotting Association.
That's how it started, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
and it's
right.
funny. I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole not too long ago, and I was actually I did that homework. I wondered when they did join Standardbred Canada, and you're right, it was 2001,
yeah.
right? And that's not that long ago. I guess it is now, but
It is. Well, yeah, and the other guy that raced at Sackville Dance from Upper, Jimmy Whalen, of course.
Yep.
Jimmy was, his dad, Basil, was a terrific trot guy, and all the Whalens are for that one, and great people.
All right, we're coming up next on qualifier number 4. You can see the flags kind of flapping in the wind a little bit right there. There's the temperature, though. I mean, it's still not it's not that cool, really, other than a little bit of the wind and the rain, which is going to kind of soak things up a little bit. But we got trotters again for qualifier number 4. Our man Mike Carter's actually going to take a break. I'm going to hop in the announcer's booth for this one. But right away, I have to bring up Grand Slam Deo, the number 3 here. This is a 2-year-old filly by Propulsion, and we were talking about some European flavor. Here you go in Propulsion. He's such an intriguing trotter because he started out here in North America, and he showed plenty of potential. I'm not sure he ever really reached it here, though. Went to Sweden, ultimately went on to win the Elite Lop. I know there ended up being some controversy about nerving and everything, but Propulsion, the trip he went winning the Elite Lop there a few years back, I mean, it was remarkable how much air he had to take on the outside and still just motors and powers onto that victory. One of the best they had there. It's too bad some of this got overshadowed. Now he's on to the next phase of his career, that as a stallion, and I'm really excited to see what we're going to have here. $100,000 was the ticket on this one.
He could be a tremendous Grand Circuit type sire.
Yes.
Then anybody said no is crazy. Of course he could. Look what he did to the best European trotters.
Yep.
And you see what happened when the best European trotters come here.
Oh, yeah.
Look
That's
at
right. Propulsion.
That's
I
it.
mean, and the family was right there as well. He is a Muscle Hill, and he was out of the Andover Hall mare Danae. I think she won the Hambletonian Oaks back in 2007. And how about some of her foals? Dream Together, race for Luke Blais, made over $800,000. I want to say she might have got a Breeders' Crown. At least she was right there in those older trotting ranks. Dorsey, she made almost $500,000. So, and then Propulsion went on, and I love that it just shows that he has $86,000 earned before he was exported to Sweden, because that number went way, way up during his time over there in Sweden. So,
Now, would it surprise you if he threw a Grand Circuit champion?
no, not at all. No.
It's like when the horses are bred to Muscle Hills, or like Some Beach Somewhere. Well, a sister to some, or a mare by Some Beach Somewhere, or a stud colt by Some Beach turned out to be a terrific horse.
Yep.
Would it surprise you?
Nope, not at all. It would
They
not
got the
shock.
license.
It would
Muscle
not
Hill,
shock you.
Propulsion,
It
all
would,
the license in the world be a great sire.
it would not shock you one bit. So Grand Slam Deo, I am very intrigued to see what we will have from this one here this morning.
Is he standing? He's standing in
Or
Ohio.
I should say from her. Grand Slam Deo is a affiliate. Propulsion, I was just double checking on that. Could be one of those unique, sometimes those European, I think he's in New Jersey, I want to say. I'm just trying to pull it up here. But, you know, there's the stallion Love You, who I don't think has specific jurisdiction, but with the way the rules are set up in Kentucky, you breed a mare and the horse is eligible. If the mare stands in Kentucky, or at least that's where she resides, I should say, your horse could be eligible to Kentucky Sire Stakes.
It's it's a great thing. You said back all kinds. You got Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky with the dual states. I mean, what better place to race? You're sitting right here in Ohio.
Yeah, so Propulsion is New Jersey. So there you
Whoa.
go. And Grand Slam Deo, this filly, bred by Deo Valente.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see how this one does perform. Anthony's going to take the controls himself.
Oh, Anthony's taking his race sector. He
I was
second
gonna- that was your
closing the
theory,
other one.
right?
That's it. If you want Scotty back, you put Scotty on the best one. Say.
Yep, absolutely.
No, Scotty's no dummy.
No, speaking of some breeders, Midland Acres, and there's an outfit here in Ohio that just continues to boom, and you know, their presence not only in Ohio but across the entire sport continues to be felt. They are the breeders of number 4 Manhattan Money, who is a gelded son of International Money. Billy Davis will sit behind that one. But we'll start first here with the one Rosetta, who's going to come out onto the track. A Walner filly, and just taking a peek at her. And hey, have you noticed they've all been really on their best behavior here through 3
unreal.
qualifiers?
It is unreal. Nice to see him running around, skydiving and jumping, seeing things.
Yep. So, I mean,
Of course,
Anthony,
again, as it's a 2 or 3 weeks variance there, it seemed to be early. And it might have something to do with the timing, too.
I think so. I definitely think
So a
so.
lot more mature. You don't see them running and making breaks and running out and in. But imagine a Chapter 7 in Walnut.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty tough to beat them. Well, we've seen King of the North on the Breeders' Crown. I mean, you can say what you want off the rail. It was unbelievable to make the front and keep going at 15-3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a Walner. Walner's a Chapter 7. So we sit back and look at it and you say to yourself, oh my God. And then go back 3 or 4 generations and what do you get? Garland LaBelle, and then you get Angus Hall, Andover Hall, and Conway Hall. So look at the bloodlines in these horses.
Absolutely. All right, there's a look at Aunt Lily. Scott Zeron will drive this one, and she is a daughter of Uncle Peter, so she will be spending, I would think, all her time this summer and into the fall right here in the Buckeye State as her dam, Chucky's Lucky Charm by Lucky Chucky, and she's a dam of 2 winners already to date. So again, that's something you like to see, including Sierra Girl, who made over $250,000 and trotted to a mark of 54-4. So Aunt Lily will look to become the next winner there for that mare. And then now up on the screen, getting a peek at the 5, and that is Mountaineer Prince. And I have to say, here's a sire I am not very familiar with. Muscles Princetonian is the sire here.
It can't be. It must be
I think
Illinois bred or
Michigan,
something.
I want to say.
All right.
And that's the beautiful thing of the internet. We can find these things
Oh,
out.
yeah, you
that
got it
one
right in front of
there.
me.
Yeah, you've got them all printed. That's how you should do it.
Well, I got my wife to print. Gail, she runs the show there. Her and Amy run the show over there. Anthony.
That's who we really should have on the air right now, the 2 of them.
Yeah, well, who's going to do the work?
Good point, actually. You're not wrong there. Yeah, Muscles Princetonian, Michigan. So I know we already had mentioned we had a couple of viewers that are watching from Michigan. The stable might be making the trip there.
It's a Muscle Son of Muscle Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. Can it throw champions? Well, it's a Muscle Hill. It's like a Sun Beach. Of course it could.
Yep. Muscles Princetonian. I'm just taking a look at what he was able to do when he was out on the racetrack, and he raced primarily just through the Northeast.
Well, I'm familiar.
And then somebody, that's the thing. These horses, someone's got to stand in Michigan. And the owners,
that's right.
Ruby Myers, brought that one there, and hoping.
Where did it sell at?
And then this one here is Harvey Byler is the breeder, listed as well as the owner. So here's one that Anthony knows people all over, right? So Anthony knows people all over.
Oh,
these horses come from everywhere.
You'd be downtown Charlottetown and sit and go to the bar and have a beer, and the guy come and tap on your shoulder, and he said, Freddie, I own a share on this horse or 2 shares in this horse, and talked to me like I knew him all my life. I never saw the guy before in my life. I know he says I watch all Anthony videos, them all. Every one that comes out.
They love them.
I'm saying, yeah, I watch them all too. Did you see the one lot? And I said, no, I didn't miss that one. I got them taped at home.
All right. Well, they're going to line up behind the gate. They'll do their 1 lap before they're sent on their way. I'm going to head over to the announcer's booth and pinch hit for this one. And we got qualifier 4 or 6 coming up. And the rookie trotters are lined up behind the starting gate for our 4th qualifier on this Sunday morning. It's a group of 5 as they get their first experience behind the wings of the starting gate. Trotters inside out, Rosetta, Aunt Lily, Grand Slam Dale, Manhattan Money, and Mountaineer Prince. Starting gate approaches the top of the stretch for our 4th of 6 baby races here this morning from Northfield Park. Inside 3, They're fillies. The outside pair, the boys, as this field of 5 set to go. And they are sent on their way, off and trotting in the 4th. And from the inside, Rosetta holds ground nicely, stepping off the wings confidently. From the center is Grand Slam Deo, as Grand Slam Deo will look to cross over and land in front of Aunt Lily, who gets away in 3rd. 2 lengths going back to Manhattan Money, who trots along in 4th, and another of pair then to Mountaineer Prince as the field of 5 will straighten out into the backstretch. So Rosetta will lead him up to the opening quarter. She is a daughter of Wallner, followed closely by Grand Slam Dale, and that one might want to go on pretty soon, as Anthony will grab onto the lines there, sitting behind the leader by the opening panel in 31 and 1. So Rosetta will chop it out. Second right now is Grand Slam Dale. Aunt Lily there in 3rd. Racing in 4th is Manhattan Money, and a break at the back for Mountaineer Prince, who jumped it off. We get our first mover as they'll come out of the turn as getting underway. That was going to be a rush now coming from Manhattan Money, who moved out from 4th and is able to sweep on up to the lead. So Manhattan Money will overtake the top spot, while Rosetta will give way and now ride in 2nd. Grand Slam Dale remains in 3rd, back to Aunt Lily, and then the breaker still off stride is Mountaineer Prince. 1:02 and 3 was the half-mile clocking. It's Manhattan Money and Billy Davis up front. A gelded son of International Money leads it by a pair. Rosetta back in 2nd. Grand Slam Dale, the propulsion filly, 4 lengths off the lead, is in 3rd there. And then in 4th is Aunt Lily. She's a daughter of Uncle Peter. Once again, our trailer is Mountaineer Prince. 3/4 is the next destination, and getting to this marker will be Manhattan Money, who was by 3/4 in 1:33 flat. Rosetta remains in 2nd. Aunt Lily moves to the outside and is now trying to get up into 3rd as Grand Slam Deo takes the short route around. Out of the 2-hole now is Rosetta coming up after Manhattan Money, so they'll straighten for home. Manhattan Money, Rosetta on the outside a little wide to open up the center seam here for Aunt Lily. Up the rail, Grand Slam Dale. Here comes Aunt Lily through the center. Rosetta on the outside. It's going to be Aunt Lily to take it. Rosetta was 2nd, Manhattan Money 3rd, then Grand Slam Dale 4th, 2:03 and 1. Aunt Lily takes qualifier number 4 in 2:03 and 1, which was just a 5th
Uncle
off
Peter.
the mile we saw in the last qualifier. So the trotters fairly even. We did have one breaker in there, that was Mountaineer Prince, but the rest of them looked good coming down to the wire. And I thought when you look there, Aunt Lily and Scotty Z just kind of riding the inside, and when they angled out, able to shoot through the middle and are able to take it. So the final time was 2:03 and 1. Aunt Lily in the 4th. I thought Grand Slam Dale looked all right. Rosetta as well. Manhattan Money, the one that Billy Davis was driving, made a nice move in the 2nd quarter up to the lead. So everybody kind of got a touch over the course of that mile. And there you go, Uncle Peter. So promising looking filly here for Ohio this season.
Anthony said good luck with the Uncle Peters here. Very good luck over the years. Anyway,
2 more qualifiers to go here on this Sunday morning. Qualifiers 5 and 6 will be coming up next as we are live this morning from Northfield Park. And this is going to be the site of what should be a real good throwdown coming up this Saturday night. The Battle of Lake Erie, always one of those highly anticipated invite paces each and every year. The Camelot Classic was just a few nights ago at Western Fair. It was won by Hullabaloo. The runner-up was Line Drive Hanover. Both of them expected to be in the field next Saturday for the Battle of Lake Erie. You're also going to throw in the likes of a Charlie May and the By the Missile. So it's one of those races that isn't for the faint of heart. They like to call it a shootout, right? They will go a big mile here at Northfield coming up on Saturday night. You won't want to miss it. A stake season is certainly ramped up, and I always love the thrill of those half-mile races where it's nonstop, go, go, go. Desperate Man could be there as well, I understand. So it's a deep group.
When you take a look at the horses that in Toronto this year at Mohawk, the top, the 3-year-olds, in my opinion, the best of them are right up there in Mohawk. But don't forget, a few years back, you had Bulldog Hanover, Desperate Man, Lala Shadow. And they all took turns of beating one another week after week after week. So how good were they? These are great horses.
Absolutely.
Not good horses, great horses.
They're great horses. And I think you look at the older pacing ranks, it's a long season. These horses got to go some big trips. The MGM Borgata final at Yonkers back in the spring was an absolute war between Line Drive Hanover and Desperate Man, 53 and 1 to the half. I mean, it was fractions that I thought were unheard of, and they definitely were for Yonkers. Hullabaloo sat third, won the race. I talked to Ron Burke earlier in the week ahead of the Camelot Classic, and I asked him about that race, and he even thought what looked like maybe a spot where you're kind of just tripping out behind those horses. He thought it was probably too fast for his horse, too. But Hullabaloo came through and got the victory, then won in the Camelot Classic. He looks like a half-mile specialist. He can get off the wings better than any of them. Line Drive Hanover the other night, I thought, in the Camelot, the post gods just weren't on his side.
And then he gets stuck.
That's it. He was just
he gets stuck in behind Blue Hunt. And Donnie McRae's horse went at Mohawk in 47 and 4 a couple of weeks ago. I was tickled pink for Donnie. He's one of the biggest owners in the race game in Atlantic Canada for certain. So, but in that race the other night, he gets shuffled and he wasn't going anywhere, and James was behind him, and the other horse got away on them by a length and a half. The margin of victory was what, half length? So that's the difference in the race, in my opinion. So they'll get a chance to tackle one another again.
Absolutely, and that sounds like it's going to come up here on Saturday night in the Battle of Lake Erie. So for those that are with us on track, those that are within the area, or those that want to come out to one of the best racing events each and every year, make the trip here to Northfield coming up on Saturday night. Race number 5 is coming up next as we will finish things off again on the trot for races 5 and 6. Group of 6 that is scheduled to line up. The stable completely represented here by this field of 6, so we'll have a chance to dive through all of them, and might as well just go in order here. We'll start with He's a Grape Guy. Once again, we were talking about What the Hill before that last race. Here is Gelded Son of What the Hill. Comes out of the Ohio Select Sale. So when you're buying them at the Ohio Select Sale, you're hoping that you're going to have some success rate here in the Buckeye State. And was a $26,000 purchase out of a credit winner mare. We'll wait and see what this one has to say, but Chris Lems will be behind. And
well, credit winner is a great Super Bowl. He's the son of Super Bowl. And that's the old cross from back in the 70s and 80s. Super Speedy Crown on Super Bowl mares. So now you got, again, Super Bowl line horse, credit winner. Looked to be a great broodmare star. So we just hope for a little bit of luck.
Fruition is the dam of He's a Grape Guy, and she's had 4 foals from that. She has 1 winner in 155 and 3 and beaten 53 and 4. That was up Blueberry Hill. So that's the full brother to He's a Grape Guy, who's made nearly 150,000. So that's a good sign, right? If the brother was able to race like that, hopefully He's a Grape Guy can follow in the shadow. Next up will be Cadeau, and this is at Marseille. Gelded Son, Gelded Son of Marseille, a 2-year-old out of a Chapter 7 mare in Mama's Gift. Marseille, an interesting one to see that one pop up as well.
Muscle Hill.
Marseille is a Muscle Hill, and raced for Oka Svanstead through 25 career starts. Only had 4 wins, but racked up over $500,000 in earnings. Took a mark of 51 and 4.
Well, Oki's got them. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's it, right? And this is Cadeau, who is going to be out of Mama's Gift, and for Mama's Gift, she has had just this 1 foal. She made it to the races herself. She was a 3-time winner. You know, again, we talk about seeing those first foals and kind of a little bit of the unknown, but also that excitement factor to it.
I'm like you. I love first falls of the dam. Absolutely.
Yeah, Marseille stands here in Ohio, so another one that will be focused here on the Ohio Sire Stakes and all the races going on throughout. Oh Hill No. Again, we go to a What the Hill out of a Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe mare in Georgie Hall. That will be the number 3. Then number 4 is Southwind Idex, and that is a gelded son of Muscle Hill. Muscle Hill just tore it up here. One of the best stallions we've seen in the trotting ranks. And yeah, he's getting a little bit older, but they're still having all kinds of success.
Well, he's going to have success too, because you got to breed. If you got a Muscle Hill, who are you going to breed to?
Yeah.
Wallner, Chapter 7.
Yep. That's it. Exactly, right? So the 5 is High Hopes. High Hopes. And mixed those words up there. High Hopes. $16,000 Ohio Select purchase, an Uncle Peter filly. And then capping things off will be Jimboree. It's a chimpanzee filly. I'm always intrigued by here.
Same here.
Chimpanzees.
This is the first one I've seen even in the baby race.
Yep, and I know last year there was quite the push going on when we were down in Lexington at the sale. I believe stands at Diamond Creek, and they do some great marketing campaigns for the folks at Diamond Creek, and they are really pushing the chimpanzees. So we're going to see what this one has to say. And this one went through that Lexington sale last year, selling for $45,000 out of the Donato Hanover mare Devonley, and for Jimboree.
You're going to go back now. You're hitting that old breeding. Garland, Nobel, ABC, Freight, and/or Hall. So on the dam side. So, it's a pretty nice matchup.
Well, Devonley, who is the dam here, this is her second foal, and Devonley herself, she is a half-sister to Crystal Fashion, a double millionaire, right? So sometimes you don't see it right there directly, but you go down the page, you'll find them under the second dam, third dam.
Absolutely, especially when you have a small sample size from the first dam.
Yes.
So you never know.
This is just the second foal for her. So we'll see what Jimboree can do, but I would have to think the hopes are pretty high, and I like that Anthony's going to get Scott Zero to sit behind this one, because there's a very good chance he's probably already sat behind some chimpanzees. He's going to be sitting behind plenty of them when the baby races ramp up back on the East Coast. So
I would say,
I think you'd like to see how they stack up.
I think that one's going to Megan.
Yeah, I would say so. It's probably a good chance.
And that's good.
Yep.
Look at the luck. They're having great luck with the horse race the other night. Tactical Mounds, that's one of theirs.
Yep. Tactical Mounds.
He's fourth.
Those are good mares, those trotting mares. And she's only a 4-year-old, so give her a little bit of time, right, to go up to those ranks. But I think she's going to definitely hold her own.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She raced good the other night. She was fourth in closing.
And that race was insane, actually, last night, that Miss Versatility.
Oh, unreal.
MM's Dream, who is maybe she, outside of Jiggy Jog, is probably the best trotting mare, older trotting mare. That final quarter she had to do to track down, it was Call Me Goo on the front, who stole away with an easy second quarter, and I thought that was going to be curtains. Nope.
So did I.
David Miller and MM's Dream got there, and he told me after the race, even he wasn't sure she was going to get there, and it wasn't going to be any of her own fault. She was going to race fantastic, but she got there at the line, and good horses, they know how to get that nose up, don't they?
Isn't that one of Ian Moore's trotters?
Call Me Goo was shipped up last year to Doc Moore through the summer. Jason Skinner trains that one back here stateside, and actually brought the horse up. So I think they've got their eyes pointed at the Armbro Flight. The eliminations, if there is a need for eliminations, would come up this weekend at Mohawk, and then the final is on North America Cup night. So I think they're kind of enjoying this little trip with their real nice trotting mare. She's got plenty of talent as well, so I think they'll all factor in.
I thought she was home free.
I did too.
Halfway down the lane, I said, no, this is over.
Yeah, but you mentioned Tactical Mounds last night. Fourth beat 2 lengths, trotted the mile in 52, home in 27 and 1. I mean, that's a good start heading into the Armbro Flight. Raced real well, and you'll get probably a bigger field, a full field for that final. Should be a nice dance.
You're getting home in 27 and 1.
Yep. Well,
Trotter's home in 27 and 1.
She's shown sub 27 final quarter speed in the past too, so she is certainly a lot of fun to watch for the stable, and I know that group there will be out in full force when she races in the Armbro Flight.
Interesting to see chimpanzees. Have you seen many of them training in Ontario?
I haven't. No, and I haven't heard too much. The one stallion I've heard a lot about in Ontario, and of course stands in Ontario, so there's plenty around, is Green Manalishi.
Oh, yes.
And that was all part of what was quite the group of horses that were racing for the Melander barn. You had Chimpanzee, Green Shoe, and Green Manalishi, I want to say it was, right? They're all around the same time. I'd have to double check, but I mean, they had just like a 3-headed monster. Green Manalishi's a horse that I think kind of flew under the radar. Oops, and we'll get that. I'm getting all my horses mixed up here now. But, I mean, these horses are just fantastic. He went over to Sweden. That's right, Green Manalishi. 2019, yeah. It was Chimpanzee, Green Shoe, and Green Manalishi. Yep, that was the 3-headed monster, I guess you could say, for Marcus Melander that year. In the Breeders' Crown final, it was Chimpanzee, that was victorious over Green Shoe in that final. Green Manalishi was also in there as well. So Chimpanzee kind of rode in the shadows a little bit. Talk about riding in the shadows through that 3-year-old year. He made 2.7 in his career. Pretty good. Pretty good. Million, yes. Ollie, as you're back with us here.
Ollie's
at the
back.
desk.
Getting your batting practice in today, or how you going to do that? No?
Have to go indoors.
Nowhere in the house, so.
Oh, okay. Nowhere in the house. Well, that's good. At least you got that message.
There's enough room downstairs to build your own ballpark in a new house you're in. There's 5,000 square feet. It looks like a castle. Swimming pool in the backyard, and a swimming pool and sauna, and it's unreal.
There's no.
No sauna. What is
There's
it?
no sauna.
Whirlpool.
Okay.
Whirlpool.
No, the hot tub's broken.
Hot tub. Okay.
It's
I
broke.
wasn't in it. I wouldn't have doubted. I seen it, but I didn't.
Well, there you
But
go.
you were swimming last night and it was cold. You and Eddie. Eddie.
Me.
What?
I was too chicken to go in.
She was in, she got wet. But you were swimming.
Up to her ankles.
I'll tell you, Ollie might be the smartest. You know why? Because he's inside here with us today. Everybody else is out there getting wet in the rain.
I
Good idea.
I watched Ollie been interviewed at Matinee Tracks in Ohio 2 years
Yep.
ago.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
and the
that.
guy was talking to him, and he said, Ollie, what do you think of this horse? Well, this horse is really, he's not a hybrid horse. He's a Pennsylvania bred horse, so we don't pay much attention to him in this race. But I don't think he'll win. I think this horse, he was good last week. And
Yeah.
I think the guy announced it, Mike Curry saw it in Charlottetown and
Yep.
told me, he said, I can't believe it that he was talking like somebody 25 years old when he was 8. That's Ollie, my man.
I think you just got to check your last name, right, to figure that out.
That's right, Ollie.
There you
Jim.
go. All right, the horse is
Chimpanzee.
on the track for the 5th. I think we've got our eyes locked on Gymboree. Anthony mentioned we will get a chance to catch up with Scott Zeron a little later on, but obviously they're kind of rolling through these qualifiers here. Still 2 to go.
And getting ready
and
for
Green-
set 5-7.
Green Manalishi.
Getting ready for race 5.
6 today. There you go.
He's
I was told at 5 there was 2 left.
a Green Manalishi. Just seen any of them training?
Yeah, and I actually saw a Trotton filly or Green Manalishi filly yesterday morning at Mohawk in the baby races. Who she didn't win. Louis Waugh actually owns her, and he mentioned how much he loved this Green Manalishi filly, and he just kind of kept her buried on the rail until about the last 16th. Shook free, and she finished up real well. So good start, probably for the Green Manalishis. Let's see if the Chimpanzees now get off to a really good start.
And Louis had a good night last night.
He did.
Great guy.
Definitely.
Absolute gentleman.
I will
Absolute
say.
gentleman. I love Louis.
I do enjoy interviewing Louis after, because I will tell you, and maybe he gets away with it because of his French to English.
Yeah.
But he's so candid,
Yeah.
and he tells you what you want to hear, and you get some really good sound bites, and it's very thoughtful and insightful, and gives you a little more context to what went on in a race. He told me last week when Nijinsky beat Fun Time by Emma in that OSS Gold event, he said, yeah, before the race, I thought I would win. He goes, look, he said, we were on paper, it was a 2-horse race, Fun Time by Emma Nijinsky, and he knew he was going to be riding on his back, and he thought for at least a quarter of a mile or an eighth, he can out-sprint him. So as long as he gets in that spot, he might be able to win the sprint. And not a lot of drivers will, be maybe that honest about the fact that it was probably a 2-horse race, but he is, and I love hearing that because it's good stuff.
He's a great guy. I was hoping that him and James would represent Ontario at the National Driving
Yes.
Championship in Three Rivers. That's his home track, and he
Yep.
ended up finishing 3rd by a point,
I know.
beating a point.
And,
He's a gentleman. I'd love to see him there. He's a great
yeah,
guy.
I know he really would like to be there.
And great for the sport.
Well, actually, I'm going to be making the trip there to Trois Rivières.
Are you heading down to do it?
Yes, in early July. So we're
Nice setup.
We're looking forward to that one. And the Canadian, or I should say the Ontario reps, James and Tyler Borth.
Yeah.
They finished 1-2 in the regional. Louis just on the outside
Yeah.
looking in. Doug McNair is the defending Canadian champion,
Yeah.
so he got an automatic spot back in. But that'll be a fun little weekend getting to Quebec for that one. But we're in Ohio here today. Baby race is rolling
All
on.
right.
Qualifier number 5. We're on the trot. We throw it back into the booth.
Spot on. Gymboree.
Thank you, Mark McKelvey, and the field makes their way to the top of the stretch. All set. Race 5. Pick you up speed. Here they come.
Get that horse right. So.
And they're off. They're trotting. It's Cadeau who gets the first call with Oh Hill No and High High Hopes. 3 deep in the course on the outside as they race into the first turn. He's a great guy. Came away in fourth for Lems down at the inside as they head into the initial turn. Then at the inside racing next is Southwind Idex. Jimboree is the trailer. Up the backstretch, Oh Hill No is a 2-length leader over Cadeau, who's in second. The length in 3/4 back to High High Hopes in the third. Then comes He's a Great Guy from Southwind Idex and Jimboree. Opening quarter in 32 and 1, and the $16,000 purchase. Oh Hill No is up by 2 lengths here into the far turn for the first time. Racing in second is Cadeau. Cadeau, a $21,000 Ohio selected purchase as they come down in front of the stands for the first time and trot down here to the half. Racing next is High High Hopes from in third. He's a Great Guy is fourth at this point with Southwind Idex and Jimboree. Halftime 104 flat as they race into the clubhouse turn, and it's Oh Hill No and Hunter Myers up by a length and 3/4 over Cadeau, who's in second. It's a gap of 3 to High High Hopes and Anthony McDonald from in third. He's a Great Guy to the outside for Chris Lems in fourth. Then comes Southwind Idex and Jason Merriman and Jimboree, and the money man Scott Zeron are the trailer. Up the backstretch to 3/4 they go. Oh Hill No, the one to knock off, up by a length and 1/4 over Cadeau, who's in second. It's a gap of 2 back to He's a Great Guy, off 3/4 in 1:35 and 2. Into the far turn. Oh Hill No, up by a length and 1/4 here off stride is Jimboree. Jimboree made a break in stride. So as they come to the top of the stretch, it is Oh Hill No. The 2-year-old filly by What the Hill is up by a length and 1/4. Here comes Cadeau on the outside. Oh Hill No wins. Cadeau was second. Very tight for show. Either High High Hopes or He's a Great Guy. Then came Jimboree and Southwind Idex, 206 and 3.
Is he going to interview Scott there?
All right, well, we probably will interview Scott when we get a chance, as I'd like to get his thoughts on the 6 Jimboree. We'll get to her in just a second, but we'll first talk about the nice effort from number 3, Oh Hill No. Now, this was about 3 seconds slower than what we've been seeing from the trotters to this point. And again, maybe it's just the track over the course of the morning, more horses going over it, just getting a little wary. But we'll ask Anthony and those that we catch up with in the paddock in a bit, just their thoughts on the surface of on a rainy morning. Not much you can do about that. Oh Hill No, 2, 6, and 3 was the time. What the Hill filly. So What the Hill, really well represented here today. Jimboree made the break, and I was out there watching it from the window. You were watching it here on the monitor. Scott was pretty patient, just getting this one through that first half of the mile and then going up the backside to 3/4, let that one go. And she was making up good ground. Nice looking strides. And she rolls off stride as she gets to the final turn. That'll happen sometimes. Maybe just trying to go a little too much.
Daddy did that too a few times.
And that's it. Yep, you're right. Jim Panzee hadn't made those kind of miscues. So, you know, it's the good-looking strides before that.
Yeah,
promising.
He was flying.
You're not going to worry about one break. There's no doubt about that. I just like the look of her. She is probably meant to be a real nice horse here. And hey, little miscue today. Nothing that they can't fix. And
That's trotting 2-year-old babies on an off track.
Oh, exactly. But it was that move, and looked like she had to turn
Yeah,
a foot, right?
look at the
Because
fraction she was going to have.
Right? She was sitting way back and was probably made up about 6-7 lengths before she did roll off stride. So, we'll keep an eye on Jimboree, that daughter of Jim Pansy. Instead, though, it did go to Oh Hill No. So, one more qualifier to go, and we finish things off once again with the trotters. And I look at this field, and I see that we've got a field of 5, and again, a little bit of a mixture, but this time we get a few long toms. And I will say, the folks that stand long tom must be very happy with Anthony. Those long toms kind of brought them to some good prominence.
He said good luck
right?
with them.
Yep.
Absolutely. Again, it's a muscle hill.
Yep.
Why wouldn't he? It's like, some beat somewhere. One of his sons turns out to be a knockout sire. Oh, what's the surprise?
Yep, exactly.
So this horse here, a long time. I liked him, actually. Anthony has good luck with the first crop that come out.
Field of 5 will have just one filly in here, and it's a green shoe filly, Green Glitter. So we'll get a look at.
Didn't have a great first year, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. I seen one training in Charlottetown a couple of weeks ago. Albie Curran is related to Harry Polton. He bought a green shoe, and they trained the other day, and he looked like $1 million. So you never know.
Yep, I think that first crop doesn't always tell the story, right?
That's, looking better than Cheddar, Ontario.
Exactly.
You never know. That's just one example. There's all kinds of them.
Another one, too, is even the stallions who get just the unbelievable mares for their first couple of books. You need them then again 3 and 4, right? And that's,
that's why it's important.
The mare's pretty important.
You got to sell, in my opinion, if you're going to be a great horse and you want to turn them into stallion, you got to go to the big firms because they have all the mares.
Yep.
And they have a vested interest. But if you do it yourself and you happen to have a bad first crop, they'll see ya.
That's it, right? It's what have you done for me lately, right?
That's it.
That's the
way it
mentality.
goes. Then the next hot horse that's marketed, away you go. You're going to lose a bunch of mares and bunch of stallions.
Yep.
Breedings.
You're right about that. All right, let's go through this field. Wander Hill is the one. This is a What the Hill gelded's son. And Swan for All mare, Bluebird Swanderful. And when I see Wander Hill here, I go back and I take a look and I see that this mare, Bluebird Swanderful, she is the dam of a $600,000 winner. One that did some great work right here in Ohio, that being Bluebird Jessie. Jailhouse Jessie, kind of one of those stallions that did so well here in Ohio before there was that influx of money that has really brought the Ohio Sire Stakes in that program to another level. But Jailhouse Jessie was a fantastic stallion here in Ohio, and Bluebird Jessie, a nice performer, the top performer for Bluebird Swanderful. She's the dam of just that one winner. But this here is the 5th full, Wander Hill. Next up, then we'll meet Green Glitter. So the green shoes, we're not backing off on them just yet. Jeff Goral's Little E LLC, the breeders here on Green Glitter, out of their Angus Hall mare, Allarage Star. So there is some bloodlines here on this one for Green Glitter, and I guess I noticed too, it's not a surprise that the trotting hobbles are put on, but I was more probably curious to see which one didn't have them, but this one definitely does. So for Green Glitter, who is as mentioned, a daughter of Green Shoe out of Allarage Star, she made over $400,000 during her racing career, that Angus Hall mare, and since shifting focus as a brood mare, she's a dam of one winner, that being Fashion on a Star, who is a 4-time winner with a mark of 155 and 1. LT Troubadour. Now we're getting to the long toms, and there's 2 of them in this group. So I'm curious to see what we'll get from this one. Here's one that could have a very good chance to make its way throughout the state of Ohio all season long. LT Troubadour was an Ohio Select purchase of $24,000. Another one that the stable shares ownership with Hutchison Harness. And out of a Tom Ridge mare. Tom Ridge, he was a fast world champion. And here is an interesting one because I pull up the page. Here's the family of Andover Hall.
Yep.
So
pretty hard to go wrong there, isn't it?
That's the thing. The dam, Absinthe, she's the dam of just one winner. This is her 7th foal here now. So maybe the numbers aren't there.
Yeah,
but I look at one. I was going to say, you look who, for LT Troubadour, he's a half brother to a Fair Hall. She's the dam of Twinbee Archie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Twinbee Archie was an O'Brien Award winner.
Yep.
So maybe not the wins on the track for
Oh, it's worth a shot because of deep pedigree. The
That's
second
it,
and
yeah.
third dams, they're worth a
Andover
shot.
Hall, Angus Hall, Conway Hall.
And
Yeah,
it's a long time.
exactly.
Well,
So,
what's wrong?
I think it's one of those that
It's
definitely
a risky.
worth
Of
a
course,
shot.
all purchases are risky.
Yep.
It's risky, but you know what? Could it be? Yes. They're looking at a deep pedigree.
You know, when this one sold, I would have to think the sales catalog, the page, it ended like they didn't have enough room. I'm just looking here. The second dam, this goes forever.
Yeah.
They needed like 4 pages,
Yeah.
and they would not have had 4 pages.
Printer's nightmare.
A printer's nightmare,
Oh,
says
Ollie, you're the printer's nightmare. This is Ollie. You're the best.
Ollie's a bit of a wordsmith, I've
Yeah.
noticed. Never Lose Felix is the number 4, and Anthony will sit behind this one. Comes out of the Goshen yearling sale, $18,000.
And what's it by?
And this is an international money.
Oh, I love it.
Is this gelding out of a Glide Master mare? Well, there you go. Ollie's providing a little insight. This one may be a little slower coming along. So maybe today, and sometimes, I know Anthony's mentioned this in the past, sometimes once you actually put them on the gate,
Yeah.
it's like something clicks.
Yeah.
It's a little different than when you're just trying to train them. Some just have different attitudes. The dam, this Glide Master mare, Nancy Coke Hanover, she's had 7 foals and has 3 winners from that group, including Natalie Hanover, who's her top performer with over $250,000
There you
made
go.
and a 12-time winner. And sometimes that's the number I'm looking for, horses that rack up a lot of wins.
As
Right.
Art Brad said one day, Stock and I were at the dinner with Art when he was in Charlottetown. It must be 20 years ago, and we're talking about stallions. Art's famous line was, "Show me the money.
There you go.
No money, no stallion."
Nope, that's it.
For the most part.
Final one we'll meet will be the 5, I Don't Play Nice, another long tom. This is a 2-year-old gelding out of the Muscle Mass mare, Muscle Chrome. And Muscle Chrome, when that one made it to the races, I remember this one, racing for the stable, I want to say. Yeah, that's right, back in 2019. I was going to say I knew this was a familiar name.
Yeah.
And never got to the winner's circle, but now this
Gotta start
one
somewhere.
has got to start somewhere, right? So it's a homebred for the stable. And I Don't Play Nice is going to look to make something happen here. First foal for Muscle Chrome
And what's it by?
and Long Tom. So there you go.
That's it.
Half sister, half brother to Elf Tom, maybe?
I like the homebreds. Do you like the homebreds, Ollie? Little.
I used to like Elf Tom.
Yep. I think with the homebreds, right? You just got that.
Half sister to this one?
You got a little extra incentive, obviously, a little extra pride
Yep.
in them, right?
Well, they got any families
Seen
behind
all
it.
I've seen all of his videos. I know him telling all these horses.
But you
There
never
you
know.
go.
You look in Charlottetown sometime or in Mohawk, you see these horses
Yep.
go a monster trip, and you say, "I wonder what that's at." And you look back, and it's got 4 foals. None of them made the races. The most money they made was 20,000 any one of them, and you say to yourself, well, "This is." And then you look at third or fourth dams and say, "Well, somebody waited and took a chance on them."
That's it.
You're going to get them cheap, but you're going to get a nice. You're turning investment is unreal.
Absolutely.
Oh, I shouldn't say return on investment. Investing in horse.
So, Ollie, I know you're not mic'd up here. I'm not sure how much they can pick up what you're saying. I might as well let you have the mic for a second. How much do you enjoy being around the horses?
I enjoy it a lot. There's like some sort of pride that you get from like taking care of all these horses, which can sometimes like give you. It's basically like taking care of a pet, and if you're like an owner, trainer, driver, you still get earnings for taking good care of that pet, which
That's
is pretty cool.
I think you're right. That's where it starts with the good care, right? And that's what you guys do your best at, right?
Yeah.
Now, how much do you want to get involved in this game? Like, can we see you in the bike one day?
Possibly, if you need me, then I'll be there.
Hey, they always need drivers. They always need good drivers, right? So you could probably.
Find me in the grandstands playing catch driver.
Yes. You've probably played against you a couple of times there on your phone. So if the baseball career doesn't work out, we might see you in the bike then.
Possibly. I'll
Okay.
think about it.
Now with the baseball career, I will say your dad is obviously your biggest fan. I really enjoy when he posts videos of you hitting the home runs.
That's the home run and screaming.
The home run. He's screaming in the background.
Yeah, he was screaming pretty loudly when that happens.
Did you hear him?
And still, I'm not sure if it's a joke or anything, but some people, even after they see the home run, ooh, he's got warning track power. Then how did I hit it over the fence? That's the question.
That's warning track.
That's for you, James, by the way.
Your uncle said that?
A bunch of times.
No, he didn't. James wouldn't say that to you.
Warning track power.
He'll,
Hey,
he'll see you in action tomorrow.
Paul Smith busted. It's been busted for a year.
all right. Ollie, appreciate you dropping by.
What do we got on
No
there?
problem.
That go blank? Honest?
Nope, we're all good. So we got qualifier number 6 coming up
This
next.
is one of my only choices because when I was trying to get back to the grandstands, I needed like a license, and I'm like, I always go in through with my dad, so not sure what I'm supposed to do here. So I just headed back up.
I'm sure we can get you
Yeah,
wherever
we'll
you got to
get you.
go, right?
Possibly.
I think he's also thrown a ball at me about 5 times while we've done this show.
Possibly.
You didn't lose your ball, did you?
Possibly.
Because I better get another one.
Oh, it's lost then.
All right. The horses are on the track for the 6th and final qualifier.
Sat, they're getting back. Are you going to watch the Memorial Cup game tonight?
We'll see,
Did
hopefully.
you call the game? You call London?
I do a lot of OHL games throughout the year. Not part of this, obviously, going on right now with the Memorial Cup. It's in Saginaw, which is interesting. They went to Michigan this year for the
Wow.
Memorial Cup. First time, I think, since 98 or 99,
Yeah.
since they went to Portland.
Portland, and I think it was the first time the Memorial Cup went outside of Canada, I think.
Yeah, and I think from what I've seen, looks like it's been good turnouts.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
that's what you want. I think it probably helped having London in it because London to Saginaw, Michigan's about probably, I'm going to guess maybe a 2.5-hour trip, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's not that bad, and those
No,
fans
it's
do
not.
travel well.
Yeah, you
I
see-
find it's the best of both worlds, Freddie. You know, when we do the yearling sales, and it's not completely the same because we're talking about humans, we're talking
Yeah.
about horses. But for me, the yearling sales, kind of like junior hockey or even the draft, right?
Mhm.
There's that what could be, you know, you're trying to figure out your prospects and looking at the future. And then you see how the horses come along, you see how the rookies come along. I think there are a lot of parallels.
Okay, that's the question. If you were Toronto in the off season, what would you do? What would you pick up? What would you do?
It's probably the easy answer to say that Mitch Marner's got to go. But I think if you
got to get something
got
for
it,
him.
you
You can't
run
give
the
him away.
no, you can't. And he's got no trade, and he can decide the 10 teams he might go to. But you've run it back with this core how many times?
Seth?
You've tried skill around them in the bottom 6. You've tried now beefing it up in the
They
bottom
did,
6.
I like what they did this
And
year.
I don't mind it at all either, but it's just not happening. So you got to make the change. And I know it's different sports.
What are you gonna
But
do?
what about when the Raptors traded DeMar DeRozan? They and that was their core. They made that big move.
Why would you trade Pascal Siakam? I mean, what are you going to get for him? What to get for him? Nothing. Jeez.
Well, now we're bouncing all over the place. But you know my point. Sometimes you got to shake things up.
Well, you got to shake it up. I don't know. What about a goaltender? I think
I
Wall
think
can do
Joseph
the
Wall
job.
will be the guy. I
So
do.
do
I really do.
Yeah.
And I think Craig Berube is a great choice as a coach.
Yeah.
I think he'll hold them accountable. But at the end of the day, if you just keep bringing back the same group, let's see.
I'm in Gerard Glant. I would like to see.
Ah,
We're hoping Gerard Glant would end up Toronto.
And you would have to think that your man,
Gerard Glant?
he's going to get another job here.
Oh,
soon.
he'll get another job. There's no question about it.
He gets
and Mike,
results.
He gets results.
Yep.
And last year when the Rangers could beat, we got a new core. Well, you get the new core this year, and you did nothing. There were worse.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll wait and see. But I'm surprised. I was hoping Gerard Turk would go into Toronto. We'll wait and see.
That would have
Berube's
been
a
good,
good
wouldn't
coach.
it?
Oh, I think it'd be fabulous. Turk was.
All right, scratch here in the 6. Take out the 4. Never lose Felix. We talked about this international money.
That's Anthony. Sorry.
This one is out. So we'll go down to a field of 4. Wanderhill, Green Glitter, LT Troubadour, and I Don't Play Nice. I'm going to head back into the booth to call this one. It's our 6th and final qualifier. Stick around, though, after we will catch up with Anthony, and he'll also bring along all of his friends over there in the paddock and get their thoughts on what they saw. Horses are lining up behind the starting gate as they get their tour around the track before being sent on their way. Sixth and final 2-year-old qualifier of the morning. Scratch number 4, Never Lose Felix, and it'll be a quartet to go forward, inside out. Wander Hill, Green Glitter, LT Troubadour, and I Don't Play Nice. So the 4 rookies are lined up behind the starting gate. Thanks so much to everybody that has tuned in or joined us here this morning for the TheStable.ca open house. Just the first step on what we're all hoping, successful racing careers for these youngsters, as the starting gate will come to the head of the lane for our 6th. All set to go. They're behind the gate. Here they come for the 6th. And the rough and trotting, I Don't Play Nice, and Hunter Myers pushing out from the outside. Green Glitter between horses moves over to the rail. LT Troubadour is on the outside. We see if that one can settle into third. That won't be the case, as Wander Hill is going to continue to hold ground there at the inside. So they'll get lined up as they hit the backside, and it's I Don't Play Nice who leads it by 2. Green Glitter is trotting along in second. Wander Hill is in third. 2.5 lengths going back to LT Troubadour, who races in fourth. So they settle up front as they'll start to slow it down a little bit. 31 seconds was the opening quarter. That's a good opening split here for I Don't Play Nice, a gelded son of Long Tom. They now try to get nose to helmet here. Does this group of 4, separated by 5 lengths, and it's I Don't Play Nice who will bring them into the lane as they'll come up towards the half. Racing in second, that's going to continue to be Green Glitter from Wander Hill, and LT Troubadour back in fourth as they near the midway point. It's I Don't Play Nice. Second is Green Glitter, the green shoe filly, riding in the pocket spot. Wander Hill, the gelded son of What the Hill, is in third, and following closely is the Long Tom Colt LT Troubadour. The half was 1:03 and 1. So they slowed her down about 32 seconds in the second split, and as they've had 5/8 of the mile now contested, here's some action. Green Glitter out from second is going to loop around and now take the lead for Xeron. So Green Glitter strikes the front as they head to 3/4. I Don't Play Nice relegated into second. Wander Hill still there in third, being called upon a bit. LT Troubadour looking to pick it up from in fourth. They're by 3/4 in 1:34 and 2. It's Green Glitter on the lead. I Don't Play Nice had carried that top spot for a good chunk of the mile and is trying to stick right with our current leader. And at the back, it's Wander Hill and LT Troubadour side by side, battling on for third. To the head of the lane, it's going to be Green Glitter who swings him into the stretch. 2 lengths better right now than I Don't Play Nice, who's pushing up on the outside. These two coming down to the wire. Green Glitter, I Don't Play Nice with the push on the outside. Green Glitter held on. I Don't Play Nice finished in second. Then it was LT Troubadour from Wander Hill in fourth. 2:05 and 2 to cap things off here today.
green shoe.
All right, that's going to do it for the baby race action here today. It's the 6th and final qualifier. Goes to Green Glitter in a time of 2:05 and 2. Green Glitter is a daughter of Green Shoe, we mentioned, bred by Little E LLC, and went through the Lexington sale for $23,000 and looped around, sat second for the opening half of the mile, takes command. And you have to like what you saw from the 5. I don't play nice, as that one will come back on in the stretch and just misses. I mean, that's them finishing side by side.
Heat.
Yeah, I'm good with the dead heat. Maybe it was. I didn't check the photo finish camera, so
I'm a photo finish camera.
there we
Dead
go.
heat.
Dead heat. Not like you asked me each time I came in who won the race, but there you go. Green Glitter, I don't play nice, side by side in 2:05 and 2. Anthony and the folks just coming off the track. We're going to check in with them in a couple of minutes as we'll get linked up with them over in the paddock and just ask how the day went and get some thoughts on some of the various 2-year-olds. Hopefully Anthony off the top of his head, and I know he can remember them all as I rattle a few his way. But we'll connect with them in just a couple of moments.
All right, I'm going down to see Mother.
All right.
Let's see Mercy. I'll see you there after.
You will see me for sure.
All right, Mark.
Thanks so much, Freddie.
Hey, listen, thank you.
All right.
How to get out of this place is,
All right. Well, Freddie's looking for the exit, and we're going to check in
right off.
with Anthony in just a couple of moments. Once again, a big thanks to everybody that's tuned in here this morning. And how about a big thanks to the crew here at Northfield Park for helping put this on. Nice breakfast going on down below. Not to mention on a day where they've got a busy card of racing coming up tonight and just ahead of one of their biggest nights at the Battle of Lake Erie coming up on Saturday. Don't forget about that great tilt that will be coming your way. So big thanks to them. Michael Carter's going to slot back in beside me here in just a couple of moments, but we mentioned it. It's going to be a dandy. The Battle of Lake Erie, $200,000 purse, and some of the very best in the sport. The best free-for-allers are going to clash. Just hoping the conditions are a little drier, eh, Michael?
Yeah, right.
Better to get the rain out of the way now.
You know, By the Missile, Charlie May, Carbine, Coach's Corner, Desperate Man.
Yep.
Hellabaloo is going to be here as well. Line Drive Hanover, who was just up at London. Why Not Now, and Little Rocket Man. So 16 races tonight, though. We're looking forward to it. It should be fun. At least I am, anyway.
I hope you make it through. I really do. As we, my computer here, hey, the battery life, I thought we had a little more. So just going to pull it up on the phone here now because Anthony and the crew will be checking in very, very soon. And we'll have a chance to ask them.
And good for them, right? The track wasn't obviously the best because of the sloppy conditions, but I'll tell you what, we saw some really impressive performances. How about Aunt Lily earlier?
Yep, I thought that one, slicing through there and just strong through the wire. The other thing is, Anthony mentioned when we talked to him a little bit earlier, these horses have seen rain, they've seen snow. That's the one thing is that racing's not always going to be perfect conditions. They got to learn to race in it anyways. Yep. I thought the mile off the bat, 59 apiece. I mean, it's understandable that over the morning, it's going to get a little more tiring, but those pacers were ready to rock.
Oh, for sure they were. And Anthony has done a really good job of, he qualifies some big miles here. Okay,
yep.
I've seen it's nothing to see a 2 or 3-year-old go 56 here. So
yeah,
they don't call it the home of the flying turns for no reason, right?
Had to get a look at them up close and in person. 59-4 was the first qualifier. It went to Gorgeous Package. The next one then was followed up by VH Dancer. That one stopping the clock in 2 minutes and 3/5. We then moved over to the Trotters, a 2-3 mile for Memento Mori, who I thought that one was looking pretty good. We'll continue on then to Aunt Lily, who I think was your favorite of the day, going a mile in 2-3 and 1. Followed up by Oh Hill No in 2-6 and 3, and then the final qualifier. Freddie wanted to call it a dead heat. He said it's Green Glitter, and I don't play nice in a dead heat in 2:05 and 2. We'll give it to him here. I mean, these are charted, so we'll have an official number, but it's a good start.
Well, and kudos to you. Thanks for taking a couple of those qualifiers off my hands. But first time calling here, what'd you think?
Yeah, it's the vantage point, right?
Yeah.
It's fantastic, and I think I got to Northfield one time when I was a little younger. I don't really remember it, but when I came here, the size of the grandstand, taking up the whole stretch,
gosh, it's huge.
And the view from the read up in the dining area, fantastic. So I urge everybody who is maybe considering a trip here, Saturday seems like the perfect time, doesn't it?
It'll be packed in here. We do have a buffet dinner, $27.95 downstairs. It'll be a great dinner.
Is that U.S.
The
or
chef's
Canadian?
Yeah. Listen, for you Canadians,
That's a
it's
good
about
price. That is a very good price.
For you Canadians, it might be 127.
Yeah, you
at the
never
rate
know.
We're going, right?
You never know, but that sounds ideal to me. And unfortunately for at least for myself, it falls on elimination to the North American Cup. But hey, there's only so many weeks and days in the stakes calendar. We know how jam-packed it is. You're well-traveled. You were at the Meadowlands last weekend. I know you'll probably be back down there very soon. So, hey, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, you guys have what I call the start of the 3-year-old gauntlet is starting next week. It's like a 13 or 14-week stretch of just 3-year-old races between eliminations and finals. And you guys get to kick things off with the $1 million Pepsi North America Cup.
One thing about that race that I love so much is that it is kind of first up on the calendar of the major stakes for the 3-year-olds. So people like to take their shot. They will go after it. And there'll be some fringe players and there's some bubble horses that maybe in about a month's time aren't even going to consider going after those kind of events. But you just want to see, right? There's still that hope. It's a long winter. So guys take their shots. And, the men and women that train these horses, they dream of being in these spots. So I think the North America Cup, there's a good chance we'll see 3 eliminations. We had 19 last night in the Some Beach Somewhere Stakes, which I would think most of them, just looking at the results, I know the winners were very impressive, but the others got a piece. Some of the good ones, I think they'll come back. Get a few that are going to come in, whether it's a Captain Albano, horses like that.
Well, you've got both Janelle Granny and Clever Cody raced here last night. So
that's it. So, I mean, hey, if we get to 21 horses, that'd be 3 eliminations. It's kind of rare in the sport these days at that level to see 3 eliminations, but that would be fantastic. So hopefully we get to that next weekend, and then hopefully you guys have a wonderful night as well. 16 races coming up tonight.
Yeah,
though.
16 tonight. It should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. All right. Well, we're waiting just for Anthony. I can hear Curtis in my ear letting me know that we're still waiting on him. So it wouldn't be a typical Stable.ca broadcast if we weren't waiting on Anthony McDonald. I know it's been a bit of a life change for him and his family as they've relocated here on a more full-time basis. That said, though, sometimes I show up places in Ontario and Anthony's there. So I don't really rule out that he couldn't be anywhere at any point.
Oh, for sure. He is the most well-traveled person. He might have more frequent flyer miles than anybody anywhere, without a doubt. And he likes to drive too, because he puts his phone up in the thing and shoots all those videos. So, and I know Jess Cotton, who works at the Meadowlands, she pays attention to all those videos. In fact, she picked a $20 or some odd horse that Megan Scran trained because of something he said.
Hey, gives us some great information, and that's what we're just trying to do here today. Make it a little more accessible for everybody, a chance to get to see these horses as they get set to start and launch their racing careers. First baby races for them in the books. And I guess I should ask, how often would you guys really have 2-year-old qualifiers here?
So every Thursday we qualify, and we will, now that the 2-year-olds are starting to come back, we'll do some overnights on the same card.
Okay.
But we'll do baby races every week, probably starting the next week or two.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting them rolling. And, like I said, it's about every 2 weeks. Normally around this time of the year it picks up. At the max, we do about 18, 19, 20 races. So it's, it gets pretty stacked.
I will say that's one thing about the folks here in Ohio. You guys like to race.
That's one thing
There's
about it.
There's a lot of racing, I feel.
Yes. Yeah, we love to race here, especially at Northfield Park, right? 15, 16 races a night. We try not to go below that. Actually, we try not to go, below, say, 12 or 13. I know Steve-O in the control room, he's probably laughing at me right now. But, we really, really try to get as much racing in as we can. We missed those couple of weeks in January and February. It kind of threw things off a little bit. But these 16 race cards have allowed us to kind of make up for it. And,
that's it.
We're happy.
That's it. Well, that's good to hear. And like I said, it's a racetrack that you tune into, you get some great action.
Yeah,
it's nonstop.
There's no single file nonsense.
Well,
here.
I was going to say, there's no easy quarters, I find.
No.
There is a lot of go, and I guess go for that final quarter, and makes for exciting racing and fun racing to play. I know that as well.
Yeah, it gets to be tough for some of the bettors, right? Because I've seen 3 wide at the half before. I mean, it's really kind of the wild west of harness racing.
You can be disgruntled sometimes after, but sometimes you just want them to give your money a shot, right?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to, I think. And nothing worse of a feeling than when the race ends and you're like, we didn't even have a shot.
Yeah.
We never even got a chance to get into the race. Here, that's not usually the case.
Speaking of getting into the race, I'm going to bring up an old call of yours. How about TCI?
Yeah.
Listen, talk about, a horse that he's just coming back in the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes, but talk about a horse in the
Million.
the Mohawk Million, made a break at the start and somehow found a way back into it.
I think I've talked to a few people who are in that race, and they all say if we hadn't just hit the brakes in the second quarter, right? Because they did essentially give him a chance to catch up. It's still remarkable no matter what, but they gave him a chance to at least get back in it. And a horse like that, all he wants to do is win. He's got that heart of a champion. They're going to keep coming. They're not going to quit. And, that was such a memorable race. And, that's one that, again, unpredictable. And that's why I'd imagine, too, when you're in the booth sometimes, you try not to guess what's going to happen because as soon as you do that, it's out the window.
Well, and I'm looking forward to seeing him and Carl kind of tussle again. They had a couple of bouts last year. I believe Carl won the battle last year, but Carl has come back strong. TCI has come back really strong. So the Hambletonian's going to be another really good race this year. And if Yannick doesn't win it this year, he's like the Dale Earnhardt of harness racing, right? He's been trying so hard to win the Hambletonian. We're hoping that this is the year for him.
Oh, there's always good storylines through all those events. All right, Anthony McDonald. I believe we've reconnected with you over in the paddock. You're standing by. I might as well just hand the reins over to you. Let us hear you take us through what we saw here this morning and into this early afternoon.
Well, we're all done for the day. I was scratching the last thing I cleaned up, but Scott Zeron did not. It's hard to believe, though. You did a great job coming down here, though. Like, people don't realize you were in the 5th at Mohawk. Dominic and you and Steve Palermo came down. What time did you get here?
Just shy of 2.
Just shy of 2 a.m. to go and qualify horses at Northfield Park in the mud. It's pretty high praise.
And we knew it was going to rain, so I knew it was going to be.
It was so. The last 3 sets were like soup. Yes, absolute soup. And that was the thing. I had. What about Billy Davis? But Wander Hill had made breaks in the past. And I said, I'll tell you what, Billy. If you can beat 2, 6, and 3 with Wander Hill and not make a break, I will give you $50. And I think you went around 2, 6, and 4. It was, you know what? It was a good day. The only breakers of the day, Mountaineer Prince made a break. So for those of you who maybe don't know, Mountaineer Prince, 1, very rarely makes a break. 2 is Michigan bred. I've trained him here in 2.5. He's ready to go, but it's a fair, the first one. He doesn't have to be qualified to show up and race. So it doesn't really matter. And the other breaker of the day was you. Jimboree never, ever runs also. That's not true. She made breaks. She made breaks in the past. Yes. Not on me, though. But I mean, you won the Hamiltonian. What are you going to do? It was a great day. And Jimboree, I'm not worried about her at all. She was fine after. Seems good. It's hard to ask a horse to go out. 1, and I didn't tell Scott, but most of the horses had not seen the gate yet. It just seemed like every day that we could gate school, it was pouring rain. So finally, the other day, I said to Jason, well, it's getting too close to the open house. We're going to have to school these horses. We picked 4 or 5 of the horses that we thought might be skittish and went with them. And everybody else had never seen the gate before. So never seen the gate, in the rain, in the mud, on a track that was sloppy. That's a lot to ask a 2-year-old. With flip-flops, a lot of them. You're right. That's a lot to ask a 2-year-old. And certainly no disappointments here. As I said, Jimboree, you said just a line pole on the inside. She's fine. Yeah, so she's fine.
She goes big tracks in.
Exactly. That's right. And Mountaineer Prince, as I said, rarely makes a break. There's the Hutchinson. Oh, I had to give you a shout out because of your sponsorship of the open house. So Hutchinson Harness LLC is here. I think I broke it. I'm back. I'm back. Anyway, Randy and Bob are here. Horses went good? Yeah. I was very happy with them too. Steve's here. It was nice to see people come out. Not a great day. It's a very inclement, rainy, wet day, but to have people come out and watch their horses means a lot. And again, because of your sponsorship, Hutchinson Harness LLC, North Ridgeway, Ohio. Okay. We're going to go back and look at all the horses now and finish up for the day. Scotty's going to get cleaned up. We're going to get a little bite to eat. We're going to do some videos. Scotty and I know Chris left here as soon as he could. But I'll get Hunter and Billy, and we'll do some videos before everybody scoots out of town. But, hey, honestly, all jokes aside, I appreciate you coming over today. It means a lot. It means a lot to have one of the leading drivers in the world come to Northfield. I thought it was one of the – with the gate, I thought it was going to be one of those moments from Seabiscuit where the old trainer gets him to go with the red collar, he goes the horse, and then he gets drug around the track. I could see that happen. Anyway, Have a wonderful day. I wish it was sunny, but you know what? It was a great day here on the track, at the track, and hopefully a great season ahead for all of us. Take care.
All right, thanks so much, Anthony. Good to hear from him there. And again, for everybody that follows those videos on YouTube and Facebook, they'll be popping up throughout the day as we get some feedback on all the various babies that went here today. And he mentioned it. Great, Scott Zeron to make the trip here today as well, and everybody else. And I didn't get a chance to slide downstairs, but I heard it was a great turnout.
Yeah, it was awesome. There had to be 100, 150 people here checking things out. So super happy with the turnout downstairs. And thanks to you as well,
Oh,
man.
no,
You
this
guys
is
shipped
great.
in super late last night. You had to race at Mohawk.
Yeah,
So.
I like it. He said, Scott, they left after race 5. Curtis and I left after race 9. But we got here, and glad we did because it was a fun day. You got to go rest your voice, man.
Yeah.
You got a busy night coming up. Always great to see you. Thanks
Awesome.
so much for the hospitality.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun. To everybody that tuned in here today, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Keep your eyes out for more great content coming from TheStable.ca. And best of luck to all the owners out there. It's going to be a fun racing year with these 2-year-olds. Have a great day.